Chapter 872. Meow. Zhu Tian looked at Lai Gu covetously, seemingly saying, "Quickly go and eat your breakfast, my woman wants to move around." Lai Gu felt deep despair. If it was someone else, I can still give an order, but these people are the only ones that I cannot afford to offend. All right, Brett, pay attention to your face. Lai Gu still reminded. Got it. How could Brett not know? Back then, I was in my human form. Those who saw me before would definitely be able to recognize me. Lai Gu took one last look at those people, then went downstairs with reluctance. The entire street was filled with silver-winged snakes, and countless people came over with knives to eat the snake meat while shouting, "Long live the Emperor." Lai Gu quickly found Yu Hua. "Hubby, why did you come back? Are you done settling everything?" Kai Yun and Yu Hua could be seen enjoying delicious food with a comfortable look on their faces. When Lai Gu heard this, he knew that he was fooled again. "You bunch of trap dogs, don't let me catch you next time, I'll trap you all to death." Shi Yu and Xiang Liren were a bit confused. Why did that man go down? And then, a woman carrying a cat appeared. This woman looks weak and soft. Could it be that she wants to fight? Just as the two finished thinking, Brett carried Zhu Tian and descended down from the city gate tower. Dressed in a red cheongsam with a slit, paired with a pair of red high heels and a bun, Brett was simply incomparably beautiful. The first two were little girls, and everyone only saw them as underage children, but this woman, that's a mature woman. Look at that slit on her pants, that white skin, seems like it's very stimulating. I really want to go and lick it. Shi Yu asked Fan Jin, who was at the side. "Great God, Fan Jin, how powerful do you think this woman is? Is she Mu Xinhai's opponent?" Fan Jin let out a light sigh, then said slowly, "Did you two not notice? Did the surrounding space get sealed?" When the two heard Fan Jin's words, their expressions sunk, and they immediately went to feel. Indeed, it was just like what Fan Jin said, the surrounding space got sealed, even a small tadpole can't crawl out. Then, we. Xiang Liren muttered, his gaze was filled with astonishment. "We don't even know when the surrounding space got sealed, isn't this strength a little too terrifying?" Fan Jin said in a deep voice, "Our lives are in the hands of this void empire." Since the great god had already said it like this, Xiang Liren and Shi Yu didn't say anything anymore. "Originally, I came here today to trample on Voidless Empire, but now, yet, my life is in the hands of Wushu Empire. Even if I'm standing on the spectator seats, I still don't feel very safe, because who knew if they would keep their word? Is there no way to save myself?" Xiang Liren asked with a trace of despair. He felt that Voidless Empire would not let him off. No matter what, they were here to kill, so how could the other party let them go? In the beginning, they were just watching him make a fool of himself and trying to dampen the morale of this side. Hopefully, praying to the heavens would still work. Ha! Where are the four women from before? Shi Yu suddenly let out a sound of doubt, mainly because when he saw Brett being so beautiful, he suddenly thought of the woman that night. However, neither Fan Jin nor Xiang Liren knew about this. "What woman?" Fan Jin asked in a low voice. He wanted to know what kind of existence this Wushu Empire was. "Oh, you two still don't know about this matter. It was during the night a few days ago, when we were fighting over the strange fire." Shi Yu told them about what happened. After listening to what happened, Fan Jin and Xiang Liren's brows tightly locked together. Why do I feel like I fell into someone else's trap? That man in the wheelchair is not simple at all. Fan Jin didn't even think about the matter regarding the strange fire, and he only felt that that man was very terrifying. Xiang Liren said gravely, "That's right, from what you said, that man's strength is most likely the strongest. I feel like he is trying to lure Yuanyang Manor over here. But what is his purpose?" Shi Yu didn't understand. Fan Jin paused for a moment, then said faintly, "Yuanyang Manor came to Voidless Empire today. I'm afraid that half of the northern region knows about it, because this news was spread by Mu Xinhai himself. And this voidless empire is located in a place like northern Liang, and they lack the recognition of the outside world. Xiang Liren said casually. The three's eyes immediately lit up. They seemed to have understood Voidless Empire's purpose. Sure, you said gravely, this Voidless Empire is trying to use Yuan Yang Manor to make a name for themselves. Fan Jin and Xiang Liren didn't speak. If they didn't guess wrongly, that should be the reason. If that was really the case, the three looked at the remaining 800,000 disciples. I'm afraid that not a single one of them would be able to leave here alive today. And this Mu Xinhai didn't know anything at all, and he just brought his men and rushed over here. But this Mu Xinhai couldn't be blamed for being impulsive. Both of his protectors had died. No matter what, he had to take revenge. And it just so happened that he discovered that this voidless empire was very good. That's killing two birds with one stone. If it's possible, I really want to go in and take a look. Fan Jin said faintly. He was filled with curiosity towards Voidless Empire. What kind of empire was this exactly? On the battlefield, Brett carried Zhu Tian and looked at Mu Xinhai, who wasn't far away. Just now, when he carried Zhu Tian out for a stroll, he saw that there was a huge snake on the street, and everyone was eating snake meat. After asking Kai Yun about it, he directly walked up the city gate tower and sent Lai Gu away. After all, it had been a long time since he last exercised. His body was about to become rusty. Although this person in front of him was very weak, at least he could still exercise a little. Mu Xinhai looked at the woman in front of him. His expression was rather heavy. What strength this woman has, I don't know. What is that cat in her arms, I don't know. What kind of weapon does this woman have, I don't know. I don't even know about the entire Voidless Empire. I was really too careless this time. I shouldn't have rushed over so anxiously. At the very least, I should have investigated first. Be good, sit on my shoulder, Brett said gently as he kissed Zhu Tian, who was in his embrace. Zhu Tian let out a lazy moan, then squatted on Brett's shoulder and looked at Mu Xinhai, who was in front of him, with a bored expression. Brett didn't have any good impressions of people. In her eyes, these people were all ants under the heavens. Whether they were alive or dead, it made no difference to Brett. Therefore, since these people dared to come, there was no need for them to return. Mu Xinhai locked onto Brett tightly, and two blades actually appeared in his hands. Scarlet flame blades. It was an extremely rare primordial godly item. After all, it was a pair of blades, and normally, there would only be one blade. Furthermore, these scarlet flame blades were emitting out a faint red glow, and it seemed like they had been tempered 5 times already. Mu Xinhai held on to the scarlet flame blades in his hands tightly, and he felt a sense of confidence growing from the bottom of his heart. What are you guys here for? Brett asked faintly. Mu Xinhai was a bit puzzled. Is there even a need to ask? I am here to massacre the city. Mu Xinhai didn't avoid the topic and directly spoke out his purpose. End of this chapter. Chapter 873. Brett chuckled. Massacre the city. I really miss the days of massacring cities. It's a pity that you guys can't be here. Don't even think about doing it. Mu Xinhai waved the scarlet flame dual blades in his hands, releasing arcs of light. Puff! A ferocious wave of air swept out, causing Brett's Cheongsam to flutter. Those shining white thighs were really enough to make one drool. However, only the cat on his shoulder dared to play with this pair of legs. After all, Brett's temper was not very good, and he would lose his temper easily. Just like now, he was a little unhappy. Whether you can do it or not will depend on your ability. As the sound of his voice faded, a powerful aura erupted from Mu Xinhai. It spread out in all directions, and even the sky stopped snowing. The clouds gradually dispersed, and sunlight shone on the earth. Brett said indifferently, "My ability is not something you can hope for. I'm afraid you can't bear it." As soon as he finished speaking, an aquamarine bow formed in Brett's hand. This bow was Brett's true weapon. Profound rainbow treasured moon. A top-notch primordial artifact, not a third-rate primordial artifact. Speaking of this bow, there was a story behind it. The owner of this bow was Brett's sister. Back then, absolute heaven had saved Brett. In the end, Brett had killed his own sister, and this weapon had also fallen into Brett's hands. Actually, this bow was given to Brett, but it was snatched away by his sister. When the profound rainbow treasured moon appeared, Mu Xinhai's aura vanished without a trace. The entire world was suppressed by the profound rainbow treasured moon in Brett's hands, causing everyone to tremble. This was a primordial divine weapon. They were not on the same level at all. You. Prehistoric divine artifact. Mu Xinhai asked blankly, his eyes filled with shock. At least you have some foresight. Brett's right hand was already on the bowstring. To be precise, there was no bowstring, but when Brett touched it, a strand of hair appeared. Moreover, when they came into contact, a wave of righteous chi suddenly erupted, sweeping through the entire scene. The oppressive atmosphere made everyone feel as if their hearts were about to explode. Was this the pressure of an ancient divine artifact? Mu Xinhai arched his body slightly. It wasn't that he wanted to, but that he couldn't bear it. He couldn't resist it at all. Even Fan Jin, who was standing far away, could clearly feel it. Is this a primeval artifact? Xiang Liren murmured. Although Fan Jin didn't say anything, he looked at the bow with a complicated expression. There was envy, jealousy, and yearning. It would be great if he could have a primordial divine weapon. Shi Yu's entire body froze. This time, he really froze. He was suppressed by this aura to the point that he couldn't move. Ancient Era Divine Weapon, this was actually the legendary Ancient Era Divine Weapon. What the hell was up with this voidless empire? They even had something like a great desolate divine equipment, and it was even held by a woman. Just now, those two little girls didn't even reveal their weapons. Does it mean that they don't have any weapons, or do they also have ancient divine weapons? The shock brought about by Void Empire was too intense. Brett slowly drew his bow, and a destructive aura condensed on the profound rainbow treasure moon. The entire world shook, and everyone fell into a momentary daze. This was the passive ability of the profound rainbow treasure moon. It was truly impossible to defend against. Even the Dozun Mu Xinhai was absent-minded. As Brett loosened his grip, a green arrow flew out. The speed was so fast that no one was able to catch it. The air seemed to have been scorched, and the beautiful green arrow was intoxicating. However, the arrow carried the color of death. Mu Xinhai could see that the arrow was flying toward him. He wanted to raise his hands to block it, but it was as if his hands were being held by someone, and he was unable to raise them at all. Facing a great desolate divine equipment, I actually don't even have the chance to resist. How is this possible? The green arrow flew past Mu Xinhai's face. Although it didn't touch Mu Xinhai's face, a trace of blood had still appeared on Mu Xinhai's face. The arrow was flying toward one of the battleships. Boom! The arrow instantly penetrated through the defense of the battleship and exploded within the battleship. The huge battleship turned into a fireball in the sky, and the surrounding temperature instantly rose. Bang! The fireball smashed onto the ground and ignited a raging fire. In an instant, hundreds of thousands of people disappeared. Mu Xinhai finally felt that strength had returned to his body, and this was the strength that came from anger. Brett didn't say anything and drew his bow once again. Mu Xinhai instantly felt that his strength was being sucked dry again. If you have the guts, come at me. Mu Xinhai shouted at Brett. Brett said coldly, when you chose to come, you had already dragged them into hell. I am only completing my mission, but you have failed. I will bear all the consequences. Why did you kill my disciples? Because I am happy. After Brett finished speaking, another arrow was shot out. Boom! Dazzling sparks bloomed in the sky, and another 100,000 people died. Mu Xinhai was completely stunned. If this was a battle between two armies, it would be acceptable if there were casualties on both sides. However, this wasn't the case at all. This was a complete massacre. Using a great desolate divine equipment to kill some dosher and a dosher. You vicious woman, you will die a horrible death. Mu Xinhai cursed angrily. Are you vicious or am I vicious? You have already fought your way to my doorstep. Don't tell me you want me to lay down my weapons and surrender, and let you slaughter the commoners. As Brett's words fell, he drew his bow once again. When the people on the battleship saw this, they all knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Everyone's face was filled with fear and the desire to live. Some of them even begged bitterly. Don't kill me, we are only obeying the prefecture master's orders. Let me go, I will be married next month. I will be a father next month. However, Brett could not hear these words. Before you want to kill others, you should be prepared to be killed. Brett's hand loosened. Bayou! Boom! Another battleship was set ablaze. Brett looked as if she was shooting at a target, appearing very relaxed. However, to Mu Xinhai, this woman was a killing maniac. Each arrow took away 100,000 lives, and those were all Yuan Yang residents' disciples. It was all his power. If you have the ability, fight me one-on-one. Brett laughed coldly, one-on-one. Do you have the right? You can't even block one arrow. Bayou. Another arrow. Boom. Just like that, Fan Jin and the other two could only watch on as Brett killed them with arrow after arrow. This sort of method was simply hair-raising. After all, each arrow killed 100,000 people. No matter how ruthless she was, she would not be able to do this. However, this woman did not have the slightest bit of pity, and even seemed to be enjoying this moment. What exactly had cultivated this woman, and the cat on her shoulder? That expression was so human-like, and it was even yawning out of boredom. Mu Xinhai had no strength left to kneel on the ground. He did not even have time to unleash a single move before he knelt in front of Brett. End of this chapter. Chapter 874. Me. Mu Xinhai. Yuan Yang Manor Master is begging you. Let my disciple go, you can take my life. Mu Xinhai shouted. He was a courageous person. In order to save his own disciple, he was willing to sacrifice his life. This made Fan Jin admire him a little. Xiang Liren and Shi Yu were the same. This woman made a Dozu kneel down and beg for mercy, her goal was achieved. However, this wasn't Brett's goal. Those who dared to cause trouble in Wusu Empire should be prepared to die. Is his honor's territory a place where you can come and go as you please? Then you are too daring. If his honor was here, your death would be called hopeless. I am just giving you a quick death. Brett ignored Mu Xinhai who was begging for mercy and pulled the bow once again. Mu Xinhai who was kneeling down clenched his fists as he listened to the explosion behind him. Those arrows, although they didn't hit me, it was more painful than if they hit me. Enough. It was unknown where Mu Xinhai got the strength from, but he actually stood up. Because right now, there was only one battleship left. All the disciples on the battleship were crying. There was nothing they could do. They were killed by a woman just like that. There were 9 balls of flames burning on the ground. Those were 900,000 people. Originally, they came over happily and were prepared to kill in all directions. Now, they didn't even get down from the battleship. Furthermore, the enemies only appeared a little, and they died just like that. Unwillingness. Even dying under the blade of the enemy was better than dying like this. Stop killing. Mu Xinhai shouted angrily. Why? Brett asked indifferently. My life in exchange for the remaining 100,000 people. Mu Xinhai said solemnly. Brett slowly put down the mysterious moon, then, I can consider it. Mu Xinhai took a deep breath and turned to look at Fan Jin. Suddenly, he knew why Fan Jin had to run. Because these people weren't a match for him at all. They didn't even have the strength to resist. My decision was wrong, I implicated my own disciple. I am a failed manner master, a failed manner master. Mu Xinhai let out a long sigh. His right hand turned into a palm and fiercely slapped towards the top of his head. Bang! A shockwave instantly spread out. Mu Xinhai looked at the sky in a daze. My life actually fell in front of an empire. This was something I didn't expect. When Shiryu saw Mu Xinhai commit suicide, his entire person was half dumbfounded. He had forced a Dozun to death. He had never heard of it. Even a storyteller wouldn't make up such a ridiculous story. But today, it happened right in front of his eyes. Didn't this mean something? Xiang Liren sighed softly. Dozun. In the Kangluo continent, he was a person of status. In order to save his disciple, Mu Xinhai chose to commit suicide. This courage was not something that ordinary people could do. Even if he couldn't do it, after all, his life was the most important. Today, he had a different view of Mu Xinhai. Fan Jin felt the same way. Looking at the fallen Mu Xinhai, he sighed in his heart. Don't blame me for not remembering our past relationship. My opponent was simply too strong, and I had no choice. If I had known that something like this would happen, I wouldn't have done anything about it. I would never have come. As Mu Xinhai's body collapsed, a small golden ball floated out. This was Mu Xinhai's primordial spirit. Brett said lightly, I've thought about it. After saying that, he raised his bow again. Mu Xinhai's primordial spirit roared angrily. You untrustworthy woman. You will go to hell after you die. Brett's arrow directly stopped Mu Xinhai's primordial spirit, and along with the last battleship, the battleship turned into flames. Meanwhile, there were still some battleships from small sects that were kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. Brett didn't say anything and just shot an arrow towards the sky. A perfect arc appeared, and the arrow could be seen turning into countless arrows in the sky, falling down with a terrifying aura. Everyone could see the arrowhead clearly. They watched it fall, and the sky suddenly burst with countless explosions. Out of the millions of people, only 3 were left. Fan Jin, Xiang Liren, and Shiryu's faces were all tensed up. It was their turn now. Brett didn't say anything and continued to pull the bow. Looking at this scene, the 3 were so scared that they peed in their pants. Fan Jin's strength was the strongest, and thus, he was still able to finish his sentence. On the other hand, Xiang Liren and Shiryu didn't even have the strength to speak. Senior. This is the spectator seats, we agreed that we wouldn't kill them. Fan Jin hurriedly explained. This is the spectator seats, do you see that? The 3 big words are so obvious. Meow, at this moment, Zhu Tian suddenly called out. Brett pouted his mouth, then turned his head around and kissed Zhu Tian. Meanwhile, Zhu Tian had a look of disgust on his face, as if Brett had dirted his fur. Since the 3 were going to stay, Brett didn't say anything. The profound rainbow treasured moon that was in his hand disappeared, and Brett flew back towards the city gate and disappeared. Fan Jin and the other 2 let out a breath of relief. Although they didn't know why that woman suddenly stopped, it was still a good thing. In the end, they were still able to stay alive. Fan Jin sensed for a bit, and the spatial seal has already been released. This means that I can really leave now. However, Fan Jin looked towards Wushu Empire, wanting to go in and take a look. Not only Fan Jin thought so, Xiang Liren and Shi Yu also thought so. However, they still don't dare to leave today. It wasn't easy for them to leave. What if they regret their decision later on? Therefore, they have to leave right now. We will meet again in the future. Fan Jin cupped his hands and said, then immediately disappeared. Xiang Liren also didn't dare to stay any longer. Goodbye. After finished speaking, Xiang Liren left as well. Shi Yu stood at the scene by himself and went into a daze for a while, then ran away as well. Why would I dare to come to such a terrifying place? In the future, I won't come here even if I am beaten to death. A million people came, and in the end, only 3 people were left. This was already the best result. Right now, in the city, the streets were filled with people. The silver-winged snake was divided among the people in the city, and Lai Gu and Yu Hua were currently enjoying the meat. There was also Lai Gu and Yu Hua. However, Lai Gu had a stern face and had a look of hidden bitterness on his face. Everything was messed up by you guys. It was clearly I, Lai Gu, who discovered the silver-winged snake. You bunch of shameless people, especially Brett. To actually lie to me, shameless, to not even let me play with a piece of trash, you guys are simply too bad. The people in the city were completely not worried that someone would invade into the city, and they were happily eating the snake meat. The snake meat was truly too fragrant. This was the best food that they had ever eaten. Of course, it was the best food. After all, this was a battle emperor snake, eating it would be extremely nourishing. Especially for ordinary people, after eating it, their lifespan would increase every year, and they would be immune to all kinds of diseases. Within the imperial palace, Yi Hua slowly opened his eyes, and Qing Yutong who was on his chest was actually drooling, and there was even a puddle of saliva on his chest. Qing Yutong. Yi Hua couldn't help but shout out. Qing Yutong didn't shout out, but instead, she woke up Qing Ye and Dong Huang Baiji who were beside her. Yi Hua, what happened? Qing Ye thought that something happened and hurriedly asked. End of chapter. Chapter 875. Look at your sister. Why is he the same as you? Yi Hua couldn't help but complain. I am a man who has mysophobia, and looking at the saliva on my chest, I am a bit dizzy. Qing Ye smiled helplessly, then poked Qing Yutong's head. Sob in your head, quickly get up. Qing Ye shouted out. Qing Yutong touched onto her mouth. I'm so tired. Brother-in-law is too good at messing around. I can't take it anymore. Qing Yutong, look at what you have done. Yi Hua said gravely. Qing Yutong opened her beautiful eyes and secretly took a peek. Damn, what a big puddle of saliva. Brother-in-law doesn't seem to like this the most. Brother-in-law, how about I suck it away for you? Yi Hua was angered to the point of laughing. Qing Ye even reprimanded Qing Yutong. Are you serious? Big sister, I was just joking. I will go and get something to wipe brother-in-law's saliva. After finished speaking, Qing Yutong ran down from the bed and took a towel to wipe Yi Hua's saliva. However, originally, it was only a puddle of dirt, but in the end, it became bigger and bigger after being rubbed by Qing Yutong. Brother-in-law. Brother-in-law, let's talk things out, don't hit me. Qing Yutong hurriedly begged for forgiveness. Yi Hua held onto his forehead. Why did I end up with a sister-in-law like this? Go and prepare water for me to take a bath. Yi Hua didn't want to speak anymore. Alright, Yutong didn't do it on purpose, don't be angry anymore. As the elder sister, Qing Ye still had to speak up for her younger sister. Yi Hua waved his hand. Who asked me, the Supreme Overlord, to have such a bitter life? I married 3 goddess-like women. However, you all might not know this, but these 3 women even drool when they sleep at night. Luckily, it was not the 3 of us who were drooling at the same time. If such a thing were to happen here, after Yihua finished bathing, under the help of his 3 wives, Yihua put on the emperor robe. I'm a bit hungry, I want to eat a pancake today, the kind with eggs and ham. Yihua muttered, then pushed open the door of the palace. Master, Daji, who was standing outside, said respectfully. Towards Daji's loyalty, Yihua was also helpless. He told her to go back to her room to sleep, and even if he beat her to death, she wouldn't go back. It was as if someone could pose a threat to the main body. What are we eating this morning? Yihua asked curiously. Master, Blood Devil made snake soup. Snake soup. Yihua was very puzzled. Why did they suddenly start making snake soup? Suddenly, Yihua smelled a whiff of fragrance, and it smelled just like the smell of barbecued meat. Qinya, did you smell something? Yihua asked curiously. Qinya nodded her head, and, there seems to be the smell of barbecue, and it is rather fragrant. Who is barbecuing? Yihua immediately looked towards the city and saw a black thing lying on the street, and there were many people beside it. Without thinking too much, Yihua directly floated over. When Yihua saw the silver-winged serpent, his brows tightly wrinkled. When the people below saw a man who was dressed in an emperor's robe, they were first startled for a moment. Within Voidless Empire, who would be able to dress like this? That must be the emperor. Everyone kneeled down in joy and shouted, "My emperor! Hooray! Hooray! Long live!" Yihua lightly raised his hand, and everyone was lifted up by a formless power. Once again sensing the emperor's ability, the look of respect on Yihua's face became even heavier. Yihua floated towards the city gate tower, and when he saw the fire outside, his face immediately darkened. And Lai Gu, who was eating the snake meat, seemed to be able to sense it. You are finished. His honor is going to stew you later. Yihua poked onto Lai Gu's forehead. Lai Gu had a bitter look on his face as he hugged onto Yihua and sighed, "Yihua, save me. Apologize to his honor properly later." Yihua said with a slight smile. She looked at her flag master, who was still happily eating the snake meat. Why am I so unlucky today? I got screwed by Qin Yutong in the morning. And the person that I called over to act cool is actually gone. I have already thought of how I will appear, and even my lines have already been thought of. I have already taken off half of my pants, and you show me this. Where are they? All of them are dead. If that is the case, why am I still acting cool? I took such a big detour, didn't I just want to have some fun? Start the meeting. Yihua shouted out angrily in his heart, then disappeared from the city gate tower. If Fan Jin and the others didn't leave, they probably wouldn't be able to leave anymore. Yihua would probably have to use them as practice. Following Yihua's shout, all of Yihua's subordinates received the order. All of them stopped what they were doing and hurried towards the palace hall for the meeting. Even Qingye and the others received the order. They didn't understand why Yihua would fly into such a big temper. Inside the palace hall, Yihua's face was gloomy as he looked at all of his subordinates. However, all of the people who did bad things lowered their heads and remained silent. They clearly felt that his honor was going to fly into a rage, and it was the kind of rage that couldn't be appeased. What happened outside? Who did it? Yihua shouted out. All of Yihua's subordinates didn't dare to make a sound. Lai Gu felt that he didn't do anything at all and only watched a show. Therefore, he shouldn't be counted in. All of you aren't saying anything, right? Seems like I have treated you all too well. As Yihua's wife, Qingye had to say something at this time. After all, as a husband and wife, one plays the bad cop and the other plays the good cop. Yi Hua, calm down, let them calm down, they were all frightened by you. Humph. Yi Hua snorted coldly. He was a little tsundere. Alright, you all can quickly speak. Yi Zizi suddenly took a step forward and said honestly, Your Honor, Lai Gu told me to go and fight. Lai Gu. When did I, Lai Gu, tell you to go and fight? You were clearly the one who jumped down. You actually dare to say that to me. Yi Hua said gravely, Lai Gu. You actually hid it from me, do you really think that I don't dare to stew you? Your Honor, please spare me, I didn't tell Yi Zizi to go, she went by herself. Lai Gu hurriedly pleaded. When his honor flies into a rage, everyone has to cower. Yi Hua understood Yi Zizi very well, who else participated in it? All of you, stand out. Kai Yun and Breb both stood out. Yi Hua didn't feel good. Such a good opportunity to act cool, you all enjoy it yourselves, don't you know that this is an opportunity that I created? Don't you all know that a lot of brain cells have to die to create such an opportunity? The main point is, I even thought of the extravagance, but I didn't do it myself. Kai Yun hurriedly said, Your Honor, it was all Lai Gu, he was the one who told me to go, and he even told me not to tell Your Honor. Brett followed up and said, Kai Yun is right, Lai Gu said that this is a rare opportunity, and he wanted to do it himself. You all. It was clearly you all who wanted to play, I didn't even touch it. Your Honor, I have been wronged. Lai Gu had the heart to cry. After you all finished acting cool, you all still want me to be the scapegoat, you all can't be so shameless. Then, who was the one who discovered it first? Dong Huang Baiji asked curiously. Everyone quietened down. Meanwhile, Lai Gu slowly raised his hand. Dong Huang Baiji smiled helplessly. Yi Hua shouted out angrily, Lai Gu, You actually dare to think of keeping it for yourself. End of this chapter. Chapter 876. Your Honor. I'm just afraid of disturbing your rest. Let me, your subordinate, take care of these small fries. There is no need for Your Honor's sacred body to appear, lest Your Honor's hands get dirty. Bullshit. You just want to take everything for yourself. Your Honor, it's not like that, we are all serving Your Honor. Lai Gu didn't even have the heart to die. If I am done acting cool, it would be worth it to be scolded, but I didn't do anything at all, and I am still being scolded. Yi Hua wouldn't really do anything to Lai Gu. After all, Lai Gu is my subordinate, I'll just scold him for him to remember. But, I still feel unhappy in my heart. When I was hugging my wife to sleep, those people came, and when I went out to take a look, there wasn't even a trace of them left. At this moment, Wei Chang stood out and said respectfully, Your Honor, Lai Gu was only trying to share Your Honor's burden, and his intention was good. Furthermore, Lai Gu didn't know of Your Honor's plan, so it's pardonable. I hope that Your Honor can quell your anger. Yu Hua also pleaded for her man. Qingye smiled tenderly, Yi Hua, since Lai Gu knows his mistake, just let it go. Yi Hua snorted coldly, you can escape death, but you can't escape punishment. Hearing what his honor said, Lai Gu knew that he was going to be in trouble. But what else could he say? So today isn't a lucky day, but a calamity day. Yi Hua took a look at Yu Hua. I finally know how to punish Lai Gu. Yu Hua. Subordinate is here. Yu Hua said respectfully. Lai Gu's heart immediately sunk. What is his honor trying to do? It can't be that he is venting his anger on Yu Hua, right? Your Honor, it's all my fault, don't punish Yu Hua. Lai Gu hurriedly said. Yi Hua ignored Lai Gu and said gravely, Yu Hua, for the next half a year, stay by Kai Yun's side. Lai Gu and Yu Hua went into a daze. Not only Lai Gu and Yu Hua, everyone else was stunned. This doesn't seem like a punishment, but to Lai Gu, this is simply a huge punishment. On the other hand, Kai Yun said happily, "Thank you, Your Honor." Yu Hua had a helpless look on her face. This move of His Honor is truly ruthless. Lai Gu turned his head and pondered. It's all right. In any case, I'm already in Voidless Empire. What's there to be afraid of not being able to see Yu Hua? Understood, Yu Hua said respectfully. Yu Hua nodded his head and looked at Lai Gu. Do I still not know what you are thinking about? Do you think that it is that easy? Ha! You are looking down on me too much. Yi Zizi. Open clouds. Brett. Yi Hua shouted out coldly. The three of them stood up, bowed and said, "Your subordinates are here. You guys attacked without my orders, messing up my plans. Tell me, how are you going to settle this?" Yi Zizi's big eyes turned, then cupped his hands and said, "Your Honor, Zizi is willing to create a new opportunity for Your Honor." Yi Zizi has become smarter, huh? Yi Zizi has become smarter. Yi Zizi just wanted to go out and play, so she seized this opportunity. Alright, the three of you. Just create another chance for me. If I can't do it, then don't come back. As for the others, stay back and guard Voidless Empire. Meeting adjourned. Yi Hua waved his hand, and his entire person disappeared from the throne. Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji shook their heads. You're already a big boss, yet you're still acting so childish. Didn't I just tell you not to act cool? You're already taking out your anger on your subordinates. I reckon that later on, you're going to take out your anger on your wife. After Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji left, Qin Yutong did not leave. Qin Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes towards Yi Zizi, and Yi Zizi's eyebrows twitched in response. However, at this moment, Lai Gu looked as if he was struck by lightning, and he stood on the spot stupidly. For His Honor to let Yu Hua stay by Kai Yun's side, didn't that mean that wherever Kai Yun went, Yu Hua would go? Now that Kai Yun was going to head out, Moonlight would definitely have to follow him. Moreover, Kai Yun had just said that the others would all stay behind to guard the Voidless Empire. Wasn't this building for him? Other than Lai Gu being depressed, Brett was also very depressed. If I had known that such a thing would happen, I wouldn't have participated in it. Right now, I have to separate from absolute heaven. His Honor's temper is still as bad as before. Yi Zizi suddenly held on to Kai Yun's shoulder. Let's form a group and go stir up some trouble, then let Voidless Empire be the scapegoat. Wah, good idea, it will definitely be fun. Kai Yun was also someone who loved to have fun, and the two belonged to the category of people who shared the same rotten tastes. Qin Yutong hurriedly walked over. How can I miss out on such a fun thing? Join the group. Agree to join the group. Yi Zizi grinned. Meanwhile, Kai Yun's smile was very naughty. Qin Yutong said towards Brett, join the group. What else could Brett say? Only by working together will we be able to quickly finish our task and return. Join the group. Yi Zizi choked. This old woman. Agreed. Yi Zizi said helplessly. Kai Yun was already impatient, and he said towards Yu Hua, let's go, we have to quickly complete His Honor's mission. Yu Hua was helpless as she pulled Lai Gu up, then carried Lai Gu into her embrace and consoled him lightly. This scene caused all of Lai Gu's subordinates to be a little stupefied. It is very common for a man to carry a woman, but this is the first time I have seen a woman carrying a man. I immediately took a photo of this scene, so that I can tease Lai Gu in the future. Being hugged by your wife like this, where did your manliness go? Take good care of yourself. After I finish my task, I will come back and accompany you. Yu Hua said lightly as she pinched onto Lai Gu's nose. It's all my fault. Lai Gu sighed lightly. Acting cool, it's all good now. In the future, I won't act cool anymore. If there's anything, I will immediately report it to His Honor without any delay. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun said at the same time, No, you didn't do anything wrong. Well done, Lai Gu. All of the benefits were taken away by you too, and I, Lai Gu. Fortunately, I still have 3 wives. I am really glad that I found a lot of wives back then. If not, I would have to masturbate to pass the time. Qin Yutong was already rubbing her palms together as she asked lightly, Then, when are we leaving? Now. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun said at the same time. Brett said faintly, Now, where are we going? Do you have a plan? Yi Zizi snorted, When did we need a plan when we do things? What is a plan? Is it edible? What Yi Zizi said is very right. Kai Yun agreed with what Yi Zizi said. What plan do we need? We can just go wherever we want. Yu Hua said tenderly, Flag Master, we need a good plan. How about we discuss about it today, and then we will leave tomorrow. We still have to wait until tomorrow, don't? Kai Yun was very obedient to Yu Hua's words, and only Yu Hua was able to move him. Qin Yutong, what are you standing there for? Come back. Qin Ye could be seen suddenly appearing and shouting towards Qin Yutong. Qin Yutong was depressed. If I had left just now, there wouldn't be any problems, but now, everything is fine. End of chapter. Chapter 877. Qin Yutong said softly, Then, let's gather tomorrow morning. You guys wait for me, remember. After finished speaking, Qin Yutong ran towards Qin Ye. Qin Ye knew what Qin Yutong was going to do. Qin Yutong definitely wanted to go out with Yi Zizi and the others to cause trouble. If Yehua were to find out about this, his butt would definitely be smacked badly. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun were very helpless. They could only wait until tomorrow before leaving. But at least, they could go out now. In a high-class restaurant in the Voidless Empire, there sat a well-dressed man. His eyes were like torches, and his face was exceptionally stylish, as though it was the work of the gods. However, this man was actually holding onto a cup of scarlet red wine in his hand. If someone who knew what was good was here, they would definitely exclaim in shock. Isn't this a goblet? Isn't that red wine inside? The man looked below. Countless people were currently fighting over the snake meat to eat, but the man did not. He looked towards the palace and revealed excitement in his eyes as he muttered, It has been 5 years. A whole 5 years. I finally found it. The man drank the cup of red wine fiercely, appearing to be exceptionally excited. He was called Yang Haotian. Back then, Yehua and Yi Zizi came here to fight, and after the fight, they went back. However, they caused Yang Haotian to suffer. Yang Haotian still remembered that day. When his red packet system gave him a notification, he immediately ran towards the destination. In the end, he did not even see a shadow, and the main mission of the red packet system froze from that day onwards. Furthermore, it froze for 5 years. I relied on doing side missions, and now, I am already a Dozun. If I could complete the main mission, I would at least be an overlord. Fortunately, a few months ago, his main mission finally responded. He rushed from the south to the north, the long journey even made him dizzy. After a period of observation, I have already confirmed it. The target is in the palace, a girl with 2 ponytails, and my red packet is stuck on her butt. As long as I remove the red packet on her butt, my mission will be completed. But from the looks of it now, that girl should be very strong. Not only that girl, everyone in the palace should be very strong, causing me to not make a move for a long time. I have been thinking about how to smoothly steal that girl's red packet, and the red packet is stuck on her butt. This red packet system is really a scam. But no matter what, he had to try tonight. At most, he could exchange for some items in the system, sneak in, and secretly remove the red packet before running away. No one would have guessed that it would happen without anyone noticing. Thinking of this, Yang Haotian made a decision. He could not continue waiting like this. Otherwise, his system would be crippled. Because he had completed all the side quests, if he didn't start the main quest, he wouldn't even be able to complete the side quests. Then his system would be a piece of scrap metal. That's why I must remove that little girl's butt. Oh, that's not it. It was a red packet on his buttocks. Even if he had to sacrifice his life, he would do it. Yang Haotian opened the system interface and looked at the remaining point certificates. He began to think about what kind of equipment he should buy in order to sneak in. However, he only had 7 points left. Yang Haotian propped himself up on the table and touched his chin. There was a little stubble on his chin. He had been too tired these few days. He didn't have that kind of invisibility magic treasure, so the inside of the palace was a tiger's den. If he was not careful, he would fall inside tonight. 7 point certificates. What can I buy with this amount of point certificates? I can't even afford to buy a single hair. Talking about sneaking into a scary place like the palace is simply wishful thinking. Suddenly, a bottle of spray appeared in the system interface. It was called deodorant. It only cost 5 points. Yang Haotian immediately opened the system interface and discovered that this deodorant seemed to be a little useful. It was able to get rid of any abnormal smell. It seems like other than this, I can't afford to buy anything else. After pondering for a while, Yang Haotian already made a decision. I'm going to treat a dead horse as a living horse. He directly used 5 point certificates to buy this bottle of deodorant. Then, he went to buy some tools and prepared for the operation at night. As the night approached, Yang Haotian felt a little restless. All the tools were already prepared. Now, he just had to wait for midnight. However, this period of time was the hardest to bear. Yang Haotian basically just walked back and forth. Right now, even though he was a dozun, he was still trembling from nervousness. Because the inside of the palace was simply an abyss, and I am going to sneak in tonight and steal the red packet. This is simply a crazy idea. Could it be that I don't have any other choice? There doesn't seem to be any other choice. As the night approached, Wushu Empire had already entered into silence, and the palace was the same as well. Right now, Yang Haotian was standing outside the walls of the palace with a roll of things in his hand. He was sneakily looking left and right, and with just a look, one could tell that he was here to be a thief. With a flip of his body, Yang Haotian entered into the palace. Just now, I nearly peed in my pants from fright. Luckily, I managed to enter. After entering the palace, Yang Haotian became even more nervous, fearing that there would be patrols coming over. However, here came the problem. This palace was not just an ordinary big palace, and the exact location of the palace was still unknown. Seems like I can only slowly explore it. It would be best if I get lucky tonight. If I don't get lucky, then I would be dead. In actuality, there were very few patrols in the palace, because there was basically no need for them. However, Yang Haotian couldn't use his cultivation technique because he would be discovered. If he were to be discovered, then he would really be done for, and not just faking it. Suddenly, Yang Haotian saw an unusual living being and got a huge shock. He hurriedly opened the treasure in his hand, then stuck his entire body onto the wall and raised both of his hands. A wallpaper that was exactly the same as the wall could be seen. The wallpaper stuck onto the wall and blended in very well. This was Yang Haotian's secret weapon. No choice, I am really too poor, and I can't think of any other way. I can only draw according to the walls of the palace, then spray deodorant on it. This is already the cheapest method. Hearing the light footsteps, Yang Haoyan was currently trembling with fear. He tried his best to remain calm and not let the wallpaper tremble. However, why is the sound of the footsteps so strange? It seems to have 4 legs. It is indeed 4 legs, the husky Yun Lang. Yun Lang could be seen walking with cheerful steps. Upon thinking about how he was going to go out with his master to have fun tomorrow, he felt bursts of excitement, causing him to be unable to fall asleep right now. What is this smell? Why is it so smelly? Yun Lang sniffed. Why does it feel like there is a stench, such a pungent stench? Yun Lang gradually walked towards Yang Haoyan, and this caused Yang Haoyan's heart to almost jump out. Please don't find me, zzzzzzz. End of this chapter. Chapter 878. A strange sound rang out, and Yang Haoyan smelled a foul smell. It was not a normal kind of pungent smell, and it even splattered onto his feet. Damn it, it's a dog. Yun Lang was indeed peeing, and after peeing, he even shook his body, and the expression on his face was really very comfortable. After he was done, Yun Lang gradually walked away. Yang Haoyan let out a breath. This deodorant is really quite effective, just that my feet. What kind of dog is this? Why is the smell so strong, too pungent? Just as Yang Haoyan was preparing to move, he suddenly heard a conversation. He immediately pulled his feet up again and endured the pungent smell. Little brother, big brother didn't treat you badly tonight, right? Did you drink to your heart's content? Your mood is much better now, right? The people who came were precisely LV Liang and Yi Hong. Recently, Yi Hong's mood was a bit down. As for why he was down, it was because until now, he still hasn't gotten Zishan pregnant. Every time he saw Zishan's resentful gaze, Yi Hong would feel that he was sick, and that he needed to go to the male disease center to take a look. Burp big brother, do you think that there's something wrong with me? Yi Hong asked drunkenly while holding on to LV Liang. LV Liang consoled, little brother, just take it easy, which man doesn't have some sickness? I feel that I have prostate cancer. Yang Haoyan heard it, they actually know about prostate cancer, damn it. How is this possible? Big brother, I don't even dare to go back now. I feel that I have really let Zishan down. Even if she wants a child, I can't give it to her. Yi Hong sighed helplessly. As a man, I can't even satisfy such a small request of a woman. I feel guilty in my heart. LV Liang patted on the shoulder of his little brother and said carefully, don't have such thoughts. Maybe you are giving yourself too much pressure, causing the little tadpole to not be vigorous. Look at those 2 women at home, they are all letting nature take its course. Besides, it's not like you are the only one. Look at Do Fusher, isn't he still the same after so many years? There's also Uncle Wei and Lai Gu, none of them got pregnant. How can a man get pregnant? Big brother, you must be mistaken. I am talking about their wives. Burp. I want to pee. Big brother, I want to pee too. Why does it feel so pungent? Yun Lang definitely peed everywhere. Yi Hong muttered. Come, let's pee together. Cover up Yun Lang's pungent smell. Yang Haoyan was speechless. Do you guys have to be so perverted, competing with a dog? Damn it, I still have the red envelope system. How could I end up like this? After being peed on by a dog, I was peed on by a human. Can't you just pick the other side? Why are you fighting with a dog? How can there be such a person? Listening to the approaching footsteps, Yang Haoyan's face darkened. He could even imagine these 2 guys taking out their guns. He shot a stream of golden liquid at himself. F***CK. I, Yang Haoyan, am the Red Envelope Emperor, and I've been peed on twice today. This was simply a humiliation. He had been humiliated twice. Shameless. God, do they have to draw circles when they pee? Are you guys painting? Big brother, are my eyes playing tricks on me? The color of the wall seems to be fading. Yi Hong rubbed his eyes and felt that the red paint on the wall was a little blurry. Let me see, haha, seems like we drank too much. LV Shu laughed drunkenly. Yi Hong also grinned. The two of them peed for a full minute. Young Haotian had endured the longest minute of his life. In the future, I will never do such a thing again. After peeing, the two brothers walked away while holding onto each other's shoulders. After the two left, young Haotian immediately threw away the drawing paper in his hand. This is so disgusting. Other than human pee, there is also dog pee. With such a smell mixed together, it simply makes me want to vomit. However, just as Yang Haotian was ridiculing, a voice suddenly rang out beside his ear. Little brother, I'll give you the money. You lose. LV Shu laughed foolishly. Yi Hong was helpless as he took out a few gold coins and said, This is all I have, all of them are being controlled by Zishan. Forget it, who asked us to be brothers? Big brother will help you keep the rest of the money. LV Shu took away all of the gold coins, not leaving a single one behind. Yang Haotian just looked at the two of them. They actually discovered me. How is this possible? At this time, Yun Lang also walked back. That arrogant gaze of his seemed to be saying, Little brat, you still want to trick me with such insignificant tricks? Look at my sharp gaze, that is the legend of hungry wolves. Do you know what hungry wolves are? That kind of very hungry wolf. I reckon that you have never seen those fierce eyes of a hungry wolf before, right? Looking at the two people and one dog, Yang Haotian felt that he had been tricked, and a monstrous rage gathered within his mind. I am the emperor. As the owner of the red packet system, when have I ever suffered such humiliation before? This is simply humiliation. He seems to be very angry. Yi Hong said in a low voice. LV Shu nodded her head and said in a low voice, If you were peed on twice, you would also be this angry. What you said seems to be very reasonable. Yang Haotian did not retreat, instead, he advanced towards the green and red brothers. He discovered that the way they dressed up was very strange. Why does it seem a bit like the non-mainstream? But when he took a closer look, it doesn't seem that way anymore. Just like that green hair, why does he look like a clown? It is that clown from Batman, the very handsome one, and his hairstyle is exactly the same. As for that red hair, I won't comment anymore. But right now, I, Yang Haotian, am going to seek justice for myself. This is the dignity of a man, therefore, I have to get back my face. Today, I will let them experience the power of me, the Red Packet Emperor. I will let you all know what is called high-end operation. Plop. Yang Haotian directly kneeled down and shouted out, Big brother, please spare me. LV Shu, Yi Hong, even Ha had a stupefied look on his face. Just a moment ago, the two of them were so imposing, and it was as if they were going to start a fight at any moment of disagreement. But in the end, the moment they walked over, the two of them actually kneeled down. I have never seen such an operation before. The green and red brothers were simply flabbergasted from head to toe. Big brother, what do we do? Just a moment ago, Yi Hong was prepared to fight, but in the end, this fellow directly kneeled down. Even LV Shu was a bit unable to withstand it. This kneel was simply world-shaking. The atmosphere just a moment ago was so heavy, and it was as if both of them were going to perish together. But in the end, after this kneel, the atmosphere that was created instantly disappeared. What is this? Can you not be more careful? Can you not operate it like this? It is full of tricks. Big brother, I didn't sneak in on purpose, I really have an urgent matter to attend to. You all have to believe me, I also have no other choice. Yang Haotian began to plead painfully. After observing, he discovered that none of the people here could be provoked, and fighting with them was completely the same as seeking death. In the new year, I wish everyone to become rich, lose weight, and have a lot of girlfriends. End of this chapter. Chapter 879. Thus, after meeting someone, I can only offer my knees and let them know how deep my sincerity is. What urgent matter do you have? Don't you know that this is the palace? Trespassing is a crime punishable by death. Yi Hong said gravely. This is the first man who dared to trespass into the palace. I really don't know if this is courage or stupidity. This morning, millions of people died at the city gate, and he still dares to trespass into the palace. Could it be that there really is an urgent matter? Yang Haotian scolded in his heart. I already offered my knees, what else do you want? Let me go. Big brother, I really have something to do, if not why would I trespass into the palace? What urgent matter, tell us. LV Liang asked curiously. Yang Haotian pursed his lips, thinking about whether he should tell the truth or not. Seeing that Yang Haotian was thinking, LV Liang said coldly, what kind of lie are you thinking? Then let me tell you, your head will be hung on the city gate tower and exposed to the sun for 3 days and 3 nights. It's frozen. Yang Haotian said softly. Big brother, it's frozen, not exposed to the sun. Don't mind these details, Big brother is just describing it. After speaking, LV Liang shouted towards Yang Haotian, quickly speak. If not, I will kill you. Big brother, I will speak. Yang Haotian didn't care so much anymore, because entering the palace means death, I might as well take a gamble. Who knows, a bicycle might turn into a motorcycle. Yang Haotian said weakly, actually. I dropped something in the palace. LV Liang and Yi Hong revealed a sinister smile, seems like you want to be exposed. It's true, I didn't lie to you. Then, tell us, what did you drop? LV Liang asked curiously. Yang Haotian took a deep breath, it's a red packet. Red packet. LV Liang and Yi Hong were both stupefied, this is the first time they met someone who came to die for a red packet. Aren't you a little too weird? Then, where is your red packet? Yi Hong asked curiously. It's on a little girl with 2 ponytails. Hearing this, LV Liang and Yi Hong immediately knew who it was. So it was Yi Zizi who snatched someone else's red packet and now, that person is coming to look for her. This is hard to say. His honor is using a soft policy. If Yi Zizi really snatched someone else's red packet, the red packet will have to be returned. How did your red envelope get stolen? LV Shu still wanted to know. Big brother, my red packet flew randomly. It just happened to stick on that little girl's butt. What? On the buttocks? LV Liang and Yi Hong exclaimed. Yi Zizi's butt is simply a devil's butt. I reckon that only his honor would dare to spank Yi Zizi's butt, other people shouldn't even think about it. This man actually wants to steal the red packet from Yi Zizi's butt. Will he succeed or not? It seemed like something fun was about to happen. Maybe I should inform Uncle Wei first. It seemed like it was necessary. Recently, everyone was quite bored, and it just so happened that there was a bold one. He wanted to touch Yi Zizi's butt. Heavens, he actually had such a terrifying idea. Uncle Wei, there's a situation. LV Liang hurriedly shouted. Wei Chang was currently hugging onto Tang Wei to sleep. The pitiful Tang Wei had not even been touched by Wei Chang till now. Tang Wei felt that Uncle Wei was actually not a man. What's the situation? There's an intruder. Just kill him directly, why are you calling me? Wei Chang said confusedly. But, he has a terrifying idea. Wei Chang opened his eyes, then sat up and asked, could it be that he wants to assassinate his honor? It's even more terrifying than that. LV Liang said gravely. Then what is it? He wants to touch Zizi's butt. Wei Chang, good fellow, his guts are too big. If Yang Haotian knew what they were talking about, he would definitely shout out that he was wronged. When did I say that I want to touch someone else's butt? I am obviously just trying to steal a red packet, it's not what you all think. Wei Chang immediately got up from the bed. He found it hard to believe that someone sneaked into the palace just to touch Zizi's butt. This is too interesting, could it be that he is Zizi's pursuer? His courage is commendable. We have to properly check on him. Wei Chang immediately contacted everyone, and after LV Liang and Yi Hong received the order, an evil smile appeared on their faces. Yang Haotian immediately felt that something was wrong. I can spare you, and you can even continue to look for red packets, but you have to fight with one of us. LV Liang said seriously. Yang Haotian's heart sunk to the bottom. I can't even win against them, how am I supposed to fight with them? Then, does he count? Yang Haotian pointed at Yunlang and said. In front of me, I guess. LV Liang sighed. Are you going to choose a dog as your opponent? Please don't choose him. Look at Yunlang, right now, he is showing an expression of, I am very cute, I am very stupid, quickly come and choose me. However, Yang Haotian immediately pointed at Yunlang and said, I choose him. LV Liang and Yi Hong immediately covered their faces. Yunlang's strength is above theirs, and you idiot actually chose the strongest one. Yunlang immediately licked his lips, then roared towards the sky. Wowo, no matter what, Yang Haotian was a dozun. Although he had just reached rank 1, he was still a well-known figure. LV Liang and Yi Hong could be seen retreating to one side, while Yang Haotian stood up and took out his weapon. This was a harpoon. Sea Slayer Longli. The harpoon was golden in color, with a 3-pronged head, and emitted a surging aura. Seems like it was just a prehistoric godly item. This weapon is not bad, it looks like Maserati's logo. Yi Hong, who was at the side, said in a low voice. You don't say, it really does look like it. LV Liang also agreed. Yang Haotian raised the beheading sea dragon glass in his hand and suddenly stabbed it into the ground. The blue stone on the ground immediately cracked, and the crack spread to the surroundings. LV Liang immediately shouted, destroying the palace, you are finished. Yang Haotian had originally created quite an imposing manner, but after saying those words, his imposing manner completely disappeared. He even put his hands together and said, Big brother, I didn't do it on purpose just now, it's just a habit. Remember to pay up. Yi Hong warned. Yang Haotian felt helpless in his heart. These people are too stingy, do I have to pay up even for this? There is nothing to pay attention to in a 1v1 duel. Yang Haotian once again waved the beheading sea dragon glass in his hand, and a gust of astral wind blew over, causing people to be terrified. Looking at LV Liang and Yi Hong, they were both shivering from this gust of cold wind. Yunlang squatted on the ground, picking his ears from time to time. He really did not care about Yang Haotian at all. Yang Haotian did not hold back anymore. Today, he must kill this silly husky. He was going to go all out for the red packet. At most, he would be labeled as inhumane by the Animal Association. Go to hell, silly husky, Yang Haotian mercilessly attacked Yunlang with the beheading sea dragon glass in his hand. What is Yunlang? He is a silly husky. What does a silly husky do? He demolishes houses. Look at this silly husky's eyes, don't you have to be more careful when you go out? Chapter 880. Although Yunlang didn't want to demolish the house, he could demolish other things and achieve his goal. Yunlang slowly stood up and looked at Yang Haotian, who was attacking him, as well as the shiny sea-slaying dragon glass. Yunlang opened his mouth and bit onto the sea-slaying dragon glass. This caused Yang Haotian to be stupefied. His primordial godly item was actually bitten by a dog. How was this possible? This weapon was exchanged from the system and used 100,000 points. That was a very terrifying number. He saved for a long time to exchange for it. Let go. Yang Haotian couldn't help but shout. This dog actually didn't let go and bit it tightly. How was this possible? What were his teeth and mouth made of? Why were they so powerful? Yun Lang let out a low growl and bit it tightly without letting go. Yang Haotian really couldn't do anything, he couldn't pull it out, the other party's strength was obviously greater than his. It's over, it's over. Right at that moment, Yun Lang's body emitted a terrifying aura, scaring Yang Haotian so much that he didn't even want to keep his weapon and directly distanced himself. Yang Haotian looked at Yun Lang in shock. Is this really a dog? Yun Lang clearly revealed a smile. He actually wanted to touch his masters, but who gave him the courage to do that? Gotcha! The sea-slaying dragon glass let out a crisp sound. Yang Haotian was stupefied. This husky actually broke his own weapon with his teeth. How was that possible? Are his teeth a primordial godly item, to be able to easily bite off a primordial godly item? Yang Haotian just watched as Yun Lang chewed. The sea-slaying dragon glass was slowly swallowed into Yun Lang's stomach. It didn't even leave any scraps for him. That was 100,000 points, even if it was demolishing the house. It shouldn't be like this, my god, I'm really regretting choosing this dog. It even swallowed a primordial godly item. Burp. Yun Lang let out a satisfied burp, indicating that he was full. LV Liang saw that it was about time, anyways this fellow couldn't beat anyone. Alright, you can go. LV Liang said. Yang Haotian's first feeling was that it was fake. When he turned around, he would definitely launch a sneak attack. Brother, my competition isn't over yet. It's not appropriate to end it like this. Yang Haotian was heartbroken, but as long as he could get a red packet, a harpoon was worth it. Hurry up and leave. Don't make me change my mind. Goodbye, big brother. After saying that, Yang Haotian turned into a flash of lightning and disappeared. His speed was as fast as a wife giving birth at home. Yi Hong laughed. Damn, this guy runs really fast. Who's next? It seems to be Mage Brother. He is really unlucky. Yi Hong shook her head, then planned to go home with LV Tao. Yang Haotian did not know how long he had been running. Suddenly, he saw a black shadow in front of him and immediately braked. It was a black figure holding a sickle and wearing a black robe. Yang Haotian took a deep breath as if he was waiting for him. When Death Mage raised his head, Yang Haotian was startled. This was an undead. There is actually an undead in Wushu Empire. How is this possible? Yang Haotian didn't have any aversion towards other races. After being slightly shocked, he felt relieved. A group of monsters was originally living in the palace, and an undead was nothing much. Even if a legendary race were to appear, it would also be normal. With no other choice, Yang Haotian could only take out an ancient godly equipment. It was better than nothing. Death Mage was also sizing up Yang Haotian, to see just who dares to touch a tiger's butt. Right now, the person is standing beside me, but why do I feel that he seems to be very weak? To want to touch his ZZs, but with that body of his, he is overestimating himself. Come. Yang Haotian pointed his sword at Death Mage. And Death Mage naturally wouldn't use magic. As a mage, the heart of close combat cannot be abandoned. Therefore, Death Mage waved the sickle in his hand and looked at Yang Haotian. Yang Haotian suddenly placed his left hand on his right wrist. If I want to win against Death Mage, I have to use my trump card. Bloom. Giant leaf. The long sword in Yang Haotian's hand could be seen emitting a ray of light, and in an instant, it turned into a green leaf. However, don't be fooled by this, the giant leaf is not a joke. Die! Young Haotian waved the gigantic leaf in his hand and slammed it towards Death Mage. A powerful aura suppressed Death Mage. What kind of martial skill could Death Mage have? He immediately raised the Death Scythe in his hand. Boom! The gigantic leaf slammed onto the Death Scythe. However, at this moment, Death Mage suddenly disappeared. Young Haotian's heart sank as a sense of danger assaulted him. Without any hesitation, he threw the giant leaf behind him. A terrifying astral wind was formed and instantly smashed the surrounding walls. A loud noise suddenly rang out in the imperial palace. Outside of Yi Hua's sleeping palace, Daji's expression sank. She used a barrier to protect herself so as to not disturb her master's rest. Master was tired just now. My heart really aches for Master. Death Mage stood at the side and looked at the wall that was knocked down. GGG Royal Translator, you actually destroyed public facilities. You're really bold. Young Haotian didn't care so much. He waved his right hand again. This time, it was like a palm leaf fan. Death Mage raised the scythe in his hand, then ruthlessly swung it down. A crescent-shaped blade aura attacked towards Young Haotian. Young Haotian rolled and dodged. The saber chi destroyed a part of the palace in an instant, and a rumbling sound rang out. Death Mage was stunned. Young Haotian went into a daze for a moment, then pointed at Death Mage and laughed out loud, "You're done for, destroying the imperial palace." Just as he finished speaking, Young Haotian felt something was wrong. This guy was releasing his killing intent. It was all his fault for talking too much. Why did he have to laugh at it? Death Mage raised his death scythe and slashed towards Young Haotian. Young Haotian was not afraid at all, because he discovered a problem. This Death Mage is so weak, I can completely block him. Death Mage's close combat skills were not very strong to begin with. Back then, he was even killed by Xiao Yi. And the current Young Haotian was much stronger than Xiao Yi, so it was very easy for him to fight against Death Mage. Although it was easy, the surrounding walls and other things were all destroyed. If Yi Hua were to see his imperial palace becoming like this, would he become the second emperor to die from anger? At the very least, when Yi Hua sees it tomorrow morning, he will definitely fly into a rage. None of the people who participated tonight will be spared. Right now, Young Haotian was getting more and more relaxed, causing Death Mage to be unhappy. I can only fight to a draw in close combat, I don't want to play anymore. A lightning could be seen shooting out from Death Mage's bony finger. This sudden move caused Young Haotian to be unable to react, and his entire body was electrocuted. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Young Haotian's entire body was trembling, and his entire body was filled with electric current. Young Haotian's bones could even be seen, and his hair was gradually becoming taller and taller, and his clothes were starting to emit smoke. Chapter 881. Omega 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 choking with sobs. Novel. He was electrocuted for a full minute. Young Haotian spat out a mouthful of black smoke. His face was dirty and he had an afro. His clothes were also emitting green smoke. You're cheating. Young Haotian cursed shamelessly. They were clearly fighting well, but he actually used such a despicable move. Although Young Haotian was cursing, he was still shocked. That bolt of lightning was terrifying. Fortunately, he was wearing magic resistance equipment today. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. This undead was probably going easy on them. Death Mage did not want to waste any more time and immediately disappeared from where he was standing. I have played enough, I don't want to kill him. Looking at Death Mage leaving just like that, Young Haotian felt very uncomfortable, as if he was being teased by someone. But for the red packet, it was worth it even if she was humiliated by a man. Yang Haotian calmed himself down and did not run out of the palace. No matter what, he had to get the red envelope today. If I don't take the red envelope, I would rather die. It had to be said that Yang Haotian was indeed amazing. He dared to barge into such a terrifying place alone. However, this group of people was also leading the way. They were very curious about Yi Zizi's reaction. Of course, they were also very curious about how Yang Haotian had touched Yi Zizi's butt. That scene should be very exciting. As Yang Haotian continued forward, he suddenly saw two figures. However, these two figures were a little strange. Cough cough cough. Yang Haotian couldn't help but cough a few times. You guys are too hasty in doing this. Beside the wall, a beautiful figure was kissing a man in a domineering manner. Yang Haotian, who was electrocuted inside and out, felt embarrassed. These two people were naturally Do Fushi and Soul departing. Drifting Soul was still as infatuated with Do Fushi as always. After waiting for a long time, he still did not see Do Fushi. Fortunately, they started kissing. Honey, honey, she's here. Don't mind him. Kiss me again. It's so embarrassing to have an outsider here. I'll let you kiss me all you want when we get back. Alright then, hurry up. Got it, got it. Drifting Soul released Do Fushi and stood at the side to watch the battle, while Do Fushi slowly walked towards Yang Haotian. When he saw Yang Haotian's appearance, Do Fushi was stunned for a moment before he started laughing. The green and red brothers were already non-mainstream enough, but this person was simply a true non-mainstream. That afro was simply a symbol. The corner of Yang Haotian's mouth twitched slightly. It was such a serious scene, but he was laughing so hard that he was convulsing. It was really infuriating. I'm sorry, your appearance is too shocking. It's like you've been electrocuted. Yes, I was electrocuted just now. I poked your sore spot. Cut the crap, let's get started. Yang Haotian said in a deep voice. Today, he had to overcome all the obstacles and then take away the red envelope that belonged to him. Wait a minute, fighting is actually boring. Why don't we play something else? What are we playing? Yang Haotian asked curiously. Do Fushi took out a mysterious item and said with a smile, Landlord. Yang Haotian was shocked. They actually knew how to fight the landlord. How could it be? Could it be that they were from the same hometown? Do you dare to play? All right. Wife, come here quickly. We need one more. Hubby, I'm coming. The three of them sat on the ground, and Floating Do started shuffling the cards. He smiled and said, the winner can use this to hit the opponent. After saying that, Do Fushi took out a hammer, on which were written 100000T, but looking at the shape of the hammer, it looked like a balloon. Yang Haotian thought to himself, you guys are too much of a joke. I'll play with you guys then. Back in the day, Yang Haotian, was an expert in fighting the landlord. After shuffling the cards, the three of them started playing. However, Yang Haotian finally knew what fighting the landlord was. This was the shameless fighting the landlord. Damn, how could it end like this in fighting the landlord? 3 can beat 2 kings. Who are you kidding? How dare you say it's 3-2? There was actually no way to refute it. Ha, I won. As the host, Drifting Soul clapped happily. Yang Haotian said in a deep voice, I will definitely win the next round. Drifting Soul held his breath and picked up the 100,000T black hammer at the side. Hubby. Do Fushi pouted and Drifting Soul kissed him sweetly. This was a good show of affection. Yang Haotian clenched his fists tightly. Come on. Drifting Soul raised the hammer with a sinister smile. I'm coming, be careful. Yang Haotian said disdainfully, if I make a sound, I'll be your grandson. Ah! Just as he finished speaking, Yang Haoyan couldn't help but make a sound and his whole body flew out. If one looked down from the palace, they would see something playing through the wall. Wife, you're too ruthless. Dou Fusher shivered. Who told him to be so arrogant? Drifting Soul snorted. Not even I'll beat you until you scream. Not long after, Yang Haoyan walked over. His clothes were tattered like a few rags hanging on his body. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, but it wasn't a big deal. For a Dozun, this little injury was nothing. But this was a psychological injury. Yang Haoyan felt like dying. Grandson, you're back so soon. Let's continue. Drifting Soul said happily. Yang Haoyan felt embarrassed. He had just finished speaking and he was slapped in the face. But this time I, Yang Haoyan, will not lose. I've already figured out the rules. Yang Haoyan was still too young. When his sky explosion was destroyed by 119, his whole body seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Is this F** King fight the landlord? Was this rule invented by you all? No, this is a new type of fight the landlord that His Honor invented. Ordinary people will not be able to understand it. In short, in this type of fight the landlord, whoever is more powerful will have the final say. Husband. Dou Fusher pouted his mouth helplessly, and then Drifting Soul kissed him. Meanwhile, Yang Haoyan, who was at the side, suddenly felt very envious of this man. Seeing that the woman raised the hammer again, Yang Haoyan hurriedly said, "Female comrade, be gentler." All right. This time, Drifting Soul picked up the hammer and slammed it down. Bang! Yang Haoyan's entire body was smashed onto the ground. The scene was simply too horrible to look at. Yang Haoyan wanted to cry but had no tears. If only I could be smashed to death. The problem is, I have the body of a Dozun. How is it possible for me to be smashed to death? I was actually humiliated by a woman. I'm so angry. Stop pretending and continue. Drifting Soul snorted. I am very clear that nothing will happen to Yang Haoyan. Yang Haoyan immediately sat up. Oh. This sound seemed so helpless. This is a kind of abandonment towards life. Since I am unable to resist, then I'll just accept it. A trace of blood flowed out from Yang Haoyan's nose, and Yang Haoyan himself didn't know about it. Dou Fusher pointed at his nose and told Yang Haoyan that his nose is bleeding. Yang Haoyan rubbed his nose. This is so embarrassing. In the next half an hour, Yang Haoyan suffered from physical and mental devastation. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. Yen. Chapter 882. When he saw the two demons leave, Yang Haoyan wanted to laugh out loud. He would never play landlord again. If he played again, he would chop off his hands. At this moment, Yang Haoyan was already in an extremely sorry state. His afro was covered in dust, and his cloth-like robe was undoubtedly showing off his lifestyle. How casual, how sloppy. Looking at the poker cards on the ground, Yang Haoyan stepped on them. Paw paw paw. He had no choice but to bully the poker cards. F***CK. Damn landlord. I will never play cards again. You bunch of bullies. If it wasn't for the red packet, I wouldn't have suffered such humiliation. I can use 119 for a king bomb. If I use sky bomb, you guys can still call 911. Why don't you call 110? F***CK. I have never seen such a bully. These animals, I hate you. Yang Haoyan stomped on the ground and created a huge pit. Only then did he vent his anger. Otherwise, it would be too uncomfortable. Heaving a sigh of relief, Yang Haoyan looked at the night sky and decided to move forward. Since he was already so humiliated, it didn't matter. Suddenly, Yang Haoyan stopped in his tracks. A cold wind blew in the darkness. A sense of danger caused Yang Haoyan to take out his weapon and look around vigilantly. Who is it? Come out! Yang Haoyan shouted. Humph, I didn't expect you to be able to sense it. Interesting. A voice sounded in the air. It was White Bones. At this moment, Yang Haoyan's face was solemn. His mind was frantically thinking. What the hell was this? An invisibility technique? But why couldn't he sense any aura? Could it be another type of invisibility technique? That shouldn't be the case. Even if it was invisibility, there would be flaws. I know what you are thinking. Don't think too much. It's useless. White Bones said calmly. Every time he met an enemy, they would think about where he was. But they would never guess that he was part of the air. Before Yang Haoyan could react. Pooh! Yang Haoyan's arm was slashed. Yang Haoyan didn't even have time to react. He was stunned. At that moment, Yang Haoyan couldn't sense any aura at all. What the hell was this? Blood flowed from his arm. However, Yang Haoyan didn't care about the wound. He couldn't think normally. Shwa! There was also a cut on his other arm, and blood flowed out. If you don't resist, you will die here. White Bones said with a smile. This man was a little interesting. He actually stood there without moving. If it was someone else, they would have panicked long ago. In fact, Yang Haoyan was already panicking. It was just that he didn't show it on his face. Initially, he had thought that the Wushu Empire was already very impressive. But to think that there would be such a character in the Wushu Empire. He had never seen it before. Swish swish swish, 3 wounds instantly appeared on Yang Haoyan's body, and blood was already flowing on the ground. Who are you? Yang Haoyan asked. He felt that he was going to die here today. Me? I am just an insignificant person. There are many people who are more powerful than me. White Bones said indifferently. These words were still very low-key. After all, back then, White Bones was able to escape unscathed from Yi Hua's hands. Having such a record was already very impressive. Impossible, you must be one of the main members here. Yang Haoyan only had some flesh wounds. White Bones didn't really use its full strength. If it really did, Yang Haoyan would have already died. After all, tonight, they were going to see how Yang Haoyan would touch Yi Zizi's butt. This was the most interesting thing in recent years. White Bones suddenly laughed. What main member? I am not the main member. Don't think too much, resist a bit, let me be a bit more excited. You! Yang Haoyan was furious. He held the sword in his hand and slashed randomly. Streaks of sword chi engulfed the palace, and a large portion of the walls instantly collapsed. However, he wasn't able to hit anything. Instead, the wounds on his body increased. Suddenly, Yang Haoyan stopped moving. If you want to kill me, then kill me. I am not playing anymore. There was no reply in the air. Come. Kill me, come. Yang Haoyan roared. Ever since he had the system, when had he ever suffered such humiliation? In his own empire, who wouldn't be respectful to him? If he reached the supreme realm, then he would be able to sit on the same level as Broken Vein Mountain and Deity Academy. How glorious would that be? But if he didn't get the red packet on his butt, everything else was just a delusion. Damned Wushu Empire, why were there so many perverts? At the start, there were 2 drunkards and a husky. He simply couldn't understand their thoughts. Why were they so strange? Especially that dog, it actually ate his 100,000-point certificates. Then, he met an undead. He was clearly a mage, yet he wanted to pretend to be a warrior to fight against him. In the end, he was almost killed by a bolt of lightning. He was simply too shameless. Then, he met two strange lovers. He had never seen anyone who could play landlord in such a way. Why were they so outstanding? He was even hammered by that woman many times, to the point that his head was dizzy. Then, he met an even more perverted one. He was a dozun, yet he couldn't even sense a trace of aura, yet countless wounds appeared on his body. Although they were all superficial wounds, the pain was in his heart. Yang Haotian took out some external injury medicine and applied it on his wounds. Very quickly, the bleeding stopped. He took a deep breath. Just what was the background of that twin-tailed girl? Would she be stronger than them? Probably not. Perhaps she was someone's child. As long as he captured her and took the red packet, he could bid farewell to her and never come back to this damned place again. With this crazy thought, Yang Haotian continued to walk. The belief in his heart had supported him until now. If it was someone else, they would have long been tortured to the point of collapse. At the very least, they would have gone crazy. After walking for a short while, Yang Haotian saw a figure standing not far away. He's here. He's here again. What the hell is this time? Is he trying to humiliate my dignity again? Don't even think about it. Yang Haotian directly took out his sword, unleashed the aura of a dozun, and slashed at the figure. Boom! A powerful shockwave caused the surrounding walls to collapse. However, Yang Haotian was stunned. His sword was stabbed at his chest, but it couldn't pierce through. Yang Haotian slowly raised his head and looked at the face of a middle-aged uncle. He was a little handsome, and there was even a smile on his face. I'm about to kill you, yet you're still smiling. Can't you give me some dignity? Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Wei Chang laughed softly. Yang Haotian wanted to cry. He actually told him not to be afraid. Why wouldn't I be afraid? I came here alone to be bullied and abused. If you were to try it, you would probably have already collapsed. Baidu search 881 Chinese network yen. No advertising words. Chapter 883. You can either directly kill me, or tell me the location of that twin-tails girl. Yang Haotian roared at Wei Chang. I am no longer afraid of death. I can play however I want to, isn't it just death? Without the system's assistance, I would rather die. Then tell me, why? Wei Chang asked faintly. Not knowing why, Yang Haotian felt that this man seemed to be protecting that twin-tails girl. Could it be? It's her dad. It's very possible. Looking at his age, if it's really her dad. Then even the heavens are helping me. Yang Haotian had an idea, because I love her. Hearing Yang Haotian's words, Wei Chang's eyes gradually widened, as if he had seen a ghost. What did you just say? Wei Chang was shocked. This man barged into Wushu Empire's palace in the middle of the night just to confess to Yizizi. F***K. This young man is awesome. Yang Haotian clearly saw the shock, and this shock came from a father. That's right. I love her, that's why I came. No matter if it's a dragon's den or a tiger's den, I, Yang Haotian, will go crazy for love. Yang Haotian slightly raised his head, and it just so happened to be at a 45 degrees angle, as if he was telling a story of infatuation that could make people cry. Ugh, a retching sound suddenly sounded out in the air. Yang Haotian pursed his lips. What I said just now seemed to have gone a bit too far, too mushy. But for the sake of the red packet, so be it if it's mushy. In any case, I'm even prepared to die. Wei Chang suddenly laughed out loud. Little brother, I can tell you where she is. Really? Yang Haotian immediately became excited. As expected of my father-in-law, he is very wise. Of course, but what I want to say is, how deep do you love her? Wei Chang asked curiously. Before Yang Haotian finished speaking, Wei Chang interrupted him, and one of his hands reached into his crotch and started searching. Seeing this action of his father-in-law, Yang Haotian was a bit absent-minded. What do you mean by this? This action is too sloppy, right? Wei Chang could be seen taking out a big bug. The bug's legs were like centipedes, and its body was covered with a black carapace. There were 2 feelers on its forehead, and it had a lot of eyes, but they were very small. If a person with phobia saw these small eyes, they would definitely have a feeling of vomiting. These small eyes were moving irregularly, and the whole face was filled with small eyes. It was really creepy. Yang Haotian thought that he was very awesome. After all, he was a dozun. However, when he saw this worm, he couldn't help but want to vomit. This was the most disgusting worm in the world. This is called 100 million bug. It's not poisonous and harmless. Although it looks a little disgusting, it tastes pretty good. Wei Chang said with a faint smile. The worm in his hand was at least the size of 2 palms, like a doll. Even a doll would not be so disgusting. Yang Haotian retched. How dare you say that it tastes good? Only a ghost would eat this. Wei Chang stretched out the 100 million bugs and said softly, the more you love her, the more you eat. I will tell you the location, and I promise that no one will stop you. The more I love her, the more I will eat her. Yang Haotian suddenly regretted, it would be better to be whipped. Even if it was tied up in Asia, it would still be acceptable. But eating this? Are you serious? Can't I eat something else? Yang Haotian asked weakly. I have given you the chance, you better grasp it. If not, today, hee. Wei Chang said in a low voice, and his tone was filled with warning. Following Wei Chang's words, Yang Haotian's expression became very ugly. This thing is disgusting just by looking at it, how am I supposed to eat it? This is simply like a large fecal worm. Above the sky, all of Yi Zizi's subordinates were present. Even Lai Gu was present, and there was also Zhu Tian and the others. Damn, Wei Chang brought out a disgusting thing again. Lai Gu couldn't help but ridicule. Let's take a guess, will this person eat it or not, how about it? Brett said with a playful tone. I don't think he will eat it, right? It's too disgusting. Zishan mumbled, she didn't even want to look at that worm anymore. I also feel that if he really eats it, it would definitely be true love. Sun Fong mumbled. Don't even talk about eating it, just looking at it makes one feel despair. LV Lu let out a light sigh, this fellow is truly pitiful. That's right, he actually likes Yi Zizi. My god, he even fell in love with her. Dou Fusher was unable to understand. Yi Zizi is simply a demon incarnate, I feel that this fellow will definitely be beaten to death. Interesting, I am really curious to see Yi Zizi's expression. Kai Yun was very curious to see how Yi Zizi would react. For a man to suddenly say that he loves her, just thinking about it makes me feel that it is rather interesting. Yu Hua said with a smile, however, this man is still very courageous, knowing that there is only death waiting for him, he still came to look for Yi Zizi, his courage is commendable. The courage of an ignorant man. Luo Ho laughed lightly as he slowly waved the folding fan in his hand. Yang Haotian who was below didn't know that his every move was being grasped, and right now, he was struggling frantically in his heart. Hurry up and decide, you can go after eating it. Wei Chang patted onto Yi Gu's head and said with a smile. Can't I really change to another one? Do you really want to change to another one? Wei Chang asked with a naughty smile. Seeing Wei Chang's naughty smile, Yang Haotian immediately shook his head. No need, there's no need to change to another one. Who knows what I will do if you change to an even more disgusting one later on. There isn't a single normal person here. I will eat it. Yang Haotian made up his mind. For the sake of getting the red packet, I am starting to lose my bottom line more and more. Very good, it can be seen that your love is really deep. Deep my ass, to hell with love, I just want to get the red packet, for the red packet. I can do all kinds of things, I can do without any bottom line. Catch it. Wei Chang threw the yi gu in his hand towards Yang Haotian. Everyone who was standing in the air subconsciously leaned backwards, seemingly wanting to throw the yi gu to themselves. Even the subordinates had such a reaction, and Yang Haotian was the same as well. However, he had no choice but to stretch out his hand and hold on to the yi gu. Holding on to the yi gu, I can feel my scalp going numb. Countless tentacles are crawling on my hand, and especially when the yi gu is looking at me, those countless eyes are enough to make me collapse. Yang Haotian's heart is in pain, there is even hair on the carapace, my god, there is even hair on the carapace. Yang Haotian could even imagine that as long as I bite onto the carapace later on, that green liquid would spurt out, or maybe it would be some other kind of liquid. In any case, it would be a disgusting thing. Can I roast it? Yang Haotian asked weakly. There won't be any nutrition if you roast it, eating it raw is good for the body. Good my ass. You rotten old man, you are very bad. Yang Haotian took a deep breath and looked at the yi gu in his hand. Should I eat it from the head or from the buttocks? The internal organs can be spat out, right? Yang Haotian asked curiously. Chapter 884. Don't you want me to eat sh*t? Just say it out loud. Now, even if there is a pile of sh*t, I, Yang Haotian, will eat it. For the sake of the red packet, I will go all out. However, this worm was truly uglier than sh*t. He might as well cover his eyes. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve. The people standing in the void were dumbfounded. This guy really ate it. Oh my god. This is true love. Li Gu mumbled. It is indeed true love, Brett said blankly. He would rather die than eat it. Kai Yun was also astonished. I didn't expect this. Even Yi Zizi has someone who likes me. Why isn't there anyone who likes me? Seeing that the flag master was depressed, Yu Hua quickly comforted him. That's because it hasn't appeared yet. Yu Hua, you don't have to comfort me. I'm suddenly envious of Yi Zizi. Kai Yun pouted and said. Look at that fella. He was gobbling them down in huge mouthfuls as though he was eating roasted meat. Even that green liquid was gushing out crazily. How was he supposed to eat all those eyes? Yi Hong said in shock, my god, he is still chewing. LV Liang immediately covered his own eyes. At the same time, he also covered the eyes of his vampire wife. Those exploding spiders and scorpions weren't that terrifying. After a while, Yang Haotian wiped his mouth and exclaimed, awesome. Are there any more? Wei Chang, are you F***king addicted to it? Yang Haotian was indeed addicted to it. This man did not lie to him. It was indeed a great tonic. Originally, he was already mentally and physically exhausted. But when he took a bite, he instantly felt a clear current wandering in his body. He even felt that his cultivation had improved a lot. This is simply too magical, too delicious, please give me a dozen. I can F***king eat it. No more. Ah, that's all. Yang Haotian was a little disappointed. Wei Chang was a little dumbfounded. After all, this was the first time he saw someone eat this thing, and eat it with such relish. It was simply a weirdo. Turn right up ahead. The first palace is there, Wei Chang said indifferently. He then turned around and disappeared. Yang Haotian pursed his lips. What a stingy man. After saying that, he even licked the green liquid on his finger. So fragrant everyone who was standing in the void was about to vomit. This was a young man with a heavy taste. Why didn't he just go and die? At this time, Wei Chang appeared at the side and said with a smile, "Let's go call Yi Zizi." "Let's go," Kai Yun immediately disappeared. In Yi Zizi's room, Yi Zizi was combing her hair and humming a tune. She was in a good mood. After all, they could go out tomorrow. It's already so late, and it's still so noisy outside. Seriously, Yi Zizi didn't care about the commotion outside because she knew that anyone who came to Voidless Empire's palace would basically be dead, and it was even more impossible for them to come to her place. Zizi. Kai Yun suddenly appeared at his side. Didn't we make an appointment tomorrow morning? Seeing that Kai Yun had appeared, Yi Zizi did not panic. Instead, she asked with a puzzled tone. After that, she raised her twin ponytails, looking extremely cute. Kai Yun blinked his big eyes. I couldn't fall asleep, so I came to chat with you. Oh, what are you talking about? Yi Zizi asked curiously. Zizi, what would you do if someone suddenly confessed to you? Kai Yun asked curiously. Confession. That's right, that's right. Kai Yun nodded his head. Yi Zizi curled her beautiful hair and said with a smile, that's a man who loves you a lot. Kai Yun said in surprise. Yi Zizi spread out her hands and said with a smile, it's not like I need a man. Besides, other than his honor, all men in this world are trash. Damn, Zizi, you like his honor. No, this is worship, I am his honor's little fan, Yi Zizi grinned. His honor is just like my big brother. Suddenly, Yi Zizi wrinkled her brows. She sensed that someone was outside. You all let that person in? Yi Zizi asked confusedly. Kai Yun teased, a man who loves you crazily ran into the palace without a care for his life. Yi Zizi, I'm going to tell his honor about this. You all wanted to see me make a fool out of myself and even let that person in. Don't, that person went through all sorts of difficulties just to see you. Aren't you curious about what kind of man would be willing to give up his life for you? Following Kai Yun's words, Yi Zizi became a bit curious. I can take a look. After seeing that person, I'll kill him and become everyone's target of ridicule. That person simply doesn't want to live anymore. Yi Zizi stood up, and Kai Yun followed behind Yi Zizi. Just like that, the two pushed open the door and walked out. At this moment, young Haotian had already walked into the bedroom. After looking around, he suddenly saw that the door of the bedroom had opened. The twin-tailed little girl that I have been thinking about day and night has appeared. This is indeed her. And that red packet on her butt. It's sparkling, just waiting for me to touch it. After that, my red packet system will be able to function normally. Oh my God, what a great moment this is. The heavens must protect me. Yi Zizi squinted her eyes and looked at the excited Yang Haotian. This man is so lame, he is simply even more lame than the green and red brothers back then. His afro is messy, his face is pitch black, the clothes that he is wearing are tattered, and there is even a mysterious green liquid at the corner of his mouth. He is simply sloppy to the extreme. I am actually liked by this kind of person, this is simply a humiliation. At this moment, Wei Chang suddenly appeared once again, and the others were standing in the air and looking at Wei Chang. Yi Zizi naturally knew that these people are watching me make a fool of myself. This is too shameless. Tomorrow, I must definitely tell His Honor that the reason why you all let these people in is to watch me make a fool of myself. The corner of Wei Chang's mouth slightly rose as he said with a light smile, Zizi, this little brother came here for you. Yi Zizi snorted, and as her body turned, the red packet on her but caused Yang Haoyan to go crazy. I really want to go up and touch it. What are you looking at? Be careful that I dig out your eyes. Yi Zizi felt Yang Haoyan's gaze and snorted coldly. Yang Haoyan immediately retracted his gaze. Don't misunderstand, I am not looking at your butt, I am looking at the red packet. Furthermore, your butt is not perky at all, it doesn't look interesting at all. Furthermore, you look like a little loli, you are not my type at all, Yang Haoyan, like mature women. After hearing that, Wei Chang laughed, Zizi, don't be so angry, the reason why the other party is in such a sorry state is because he fought a lot of fights, isn't that right? Yes, that's right, I wasn't originally like this. Yang Haoyan felt that this father-in-law of his was truly a good person. Chapter 885. Yang Haoyan immediately took out a water bottle and wiped his face. He did wash quite a bit, but his hairstyle and clothes were indeed unbearable to look at. Yi Zizi stood at the door without saying a word. She wished she could suck this man to death. Alright, I've already seen her. If you have any feelings for her, just say it. Wei Chang had a look of I'm in charge. Just say whatever you want. Yang Haoyan was in a dilemma. Could it be that he didn't love her anymore? Wouldn't this father-in-law kill him? But how can I say it out right now? This is simply like a child. Could it be that I, Yang Haoyan, have to say such mushy words? You could go to jail. Yi Zizi crossed her arms in front of her chest. She really wanted to see what this man was going to say. After listening to him, she immediately killed him. Yang Haoyan began to ponder in his mind what kind of nonsense to use. Yang Haoyan suddenly raised his hair and put his hands behind his back, as if he had become a Casanova. This series of actions carried a wave of flirtatious air. Although I don't know what your name is, your figure has landed in my heart. The person standing in the void was no longer calm. This kind of person should be dragged up to be beheaded. Lai Gu snorted coldly. That's right, he actually likes minors, at least 3 years old and less than 5 years old. Tang Wei said tenderly. You even said those words to an underage girl, you are too disgusting. Zi Shan said with a look of disdain. At this moment, Yi Zizi had goosebumps all over her body. She could not help but want to kill this man. This man was purely here to disgust her. Letting others see her as a joke. How hateful. Yang Haoyan took a deep breath and looked at Yi Zizi affectionately, saying, the mountain has trees, and the wood has branches. My heart pleases you, but you don't know. Everyone, Yi Zizi froze and shouted, I don't understand. Speak human language. Yang Haoyan choked for a moment, then adjusted his attitude. Me. I like you. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun were both stunned. Wei Chang didn't expect this guy to be so good. Everyone standing in the air was shocked. These words of love were so unsophisticated, but it seemed to be very effective. Even Yi Zizi was stunned. However, this was not the end. Yang Haoyan rolled up his sleeve and saw that there were words carved on his arm. It was still bleeding. Although I don't know what your name is, I have given myself a name, Shuang-er. Shuang-er. Everyone was thunderstruck once again. F*ck, he even gave her an English name, and Shuang-er. F*ck. Good dick, disgusting. There's a blood stain on your arm. Did you just F*king carve it? Yi Zizi's entire body was trembling. This was not because she was moved, but because she was angry. Tonight would be a stain on his record. Kai Yun, who was standing at the side, had a love-struck look on his face. Wow, what a deeply affectionate man. He's even carved you into his arm. Yi Zizi couldn't take it anymore and slapped the air. Shameless. There was a clap. Yang Haotian was sent flying and stuck on the wall, unable to be pulled out. After a long time, Yang Haotian finally pulled himself out, cursing in his heart, "This little girl is really fierce. Looks like I have to use my ultimate move." Yang Haotian wiped the blood from his nose and shouted, "You're right. I'm shameless." Everyone was very curious about what Yang Haotian was going to say. Blood Demon was still filming, and it was another documentary. "Ever since I saw you on the street that day, everything I did was to get close to you. Even if I know I'm going to die tonight, I still want to see you. Even if I die, it's enough for me." After saying that, Yang Haotian looked at the sky at a 45 degrees angle again, as if this was the only way he could stop his tears from flowing. Suddenly, a song rang out in the sky. Sweet You Smile Sweetly, who was the one who played this background music. Yi Zizi felt like she was going to explode. However, Yang Haotian seized the opportunity and said again, "Hit me, wake me up from this illusory dream." Yi Zizi exploded. She must hammer this man into dust. Seeing that Yi Zizi was about to explode, Yang Haotian hurriedly said, "No, no, no, no. Don't wake me up." When everyone heard this, they were stunned for a moment before bursting into laughter. F***CK. This is AF** King Genius. Even Wei Chong was dumbfounded. Yi Zizi's fist had already appeared in between Yang Haotian's eyebrows. Yang Haotian was so scared that he immediately changed his words. "Don't wake me up, just let me sleep in this dream full of love. Even if you beat me to death today, at least my body has been touched by you, and you have become my life, everyone." This kind of genius was too rare. Looking at Yi Zizi's expression, there was a hint of craziness in it. Yang Haotian looked at Yi Zizi as if asking, "Are you still not touched?" If such words of love were said, girls would usually throw themselves into his arms and beg for his love. Yi Zizi's chest heaved up and down, and she said coldly, "Continue." Sweet You Smile Sweetly. Yi Zizi wanted to chop the person who played the background music. Yang Haotian blinked his eyes and seemed to be very confused, not knowing whether it was right or wrong. "I came here to see you again. I want to use my life to tell you that I loved you." Yi Zizi's expression became especially abnormal. Yang Haotian was so scared that he hurriedly changed his words, "Just let us stay here quietly like this and enjoy this moment of beauty. Look how round the moon is today." Everyone looked towards the night sky. Everything was pitch black. None of us move. Whoever moves will be considered to have lost. Everyone felt that this fellow was not bad. Seeing that Yi Zizi was about to kill someone, he actually said such words. However, the truth was not like this. "I lost, I moved first, my heart was moved, F***K. The subordinates felt that they had learned a new trick. This fellow is simply an expert at picking up girls. Or could it be that his desire to live is too strong? Be together. Be together. Be together. It was unknown who was the one who took the lead, but everyone actually started cheering. Look, even Kai Yun started cheering. Yi Zizi looked towards Yang Haotian coldly, and her fist emitted out a terrifying aura. This caused Yang Haotian to swallow his saliva. "Wait. I still have something that I want to say." "Say it." Yi Zizi felt that she had never been so angry before. "This is a man who angered me. Schwanger, speak human language." Yang Haotian was a bit absent-minded, then said in a low voice, "I have too many things that I want to say. In actuality, I left something on you." "Your heart?" Yi Zizi asked back coldly. You even know about this, seems like our hearts are linked. Scram. Chapter 886. Where? Yi Zizi asked in a deep voice. It's on your butt. Yang Haotian said weakly. You just need to touch my butt for a bit. Yi Zizi was speechless. Kai Yun, Wei Chang, everyone, Yi Zizi finally couldn't take it anymore and sent Yang Haotian flying with a punch. Yang Haotian turned into a shooting star in the dark night. Schwanger, I'll be back. A voice echoed in the dark night. Yi Zizi raised her head and looked at the crowd. Who the hell put that sweet honey there? The background music suddenly stopped, and everyone looked left and right. Get out of my sight. Yi Zi flew into a rage. She turned around, walked into the house, and slammed the door shut. Kai Yun cupped his chin. Wow, I'm so blessed. Too bad it's not me. Wei Chang sighed. What a good man. Looking at the bloody blade on the ground, it was indeed carved just now. The farce ended just like that, but the Imperial Palace, I reckon that Yi Hua will definitely fly into a rage when he wakes up in the morning. On Yi Hua's bed, 3 lovely wives were surrounding him. Suddenly, Qing Yutong opened her eyes. It is about time. Qing Yutong could be seen sneakily getting down from the bed, then taking her own clothes, she walked out just like a thief. Yi Hua, who was in a deep sleep, opened his eyes, and a light smile could be seen on the corner of his mouth. This Yutong, I shall just go out and play with her, lest she gets bored in the Imperial Palace. Qing Yutong thought that she would be able to deceive Yi Hua. After putting on her clothes, Qing Yutong pushed open the door, and Daji was standing outside. Madam. Shoo, Qing Yutong said in a low voice. Daji, be quiet. I'm going out. Daji was confused for a moment and nodded. Qing Yutong stretched out her hand and pinched Daji's face. Wait for me to come back, let's have a good chat. A bright red immediately appeared on Daji's beautiful face. Qing Yutong, this old hooligan. However, when Qing Yutong turned her head and looked towards the Imperial Palace, the corner of her mouth twitched. Did a big battle happen? If brother-in-law saw this, his back would go numb. Hurry up and leave, otherwise brother-in-law will take it out on me. Qing Yutong immediately rushed to the appointed location. Yi Zizi, Brett, Kai Yun, and Yu Hua had already arrived. Qing Yutong arrived late. Your wife. The 4 of them still had to address her respectfully. Don't call me your wife, we are already friends outside. Qing Yutong was rather carefree. Suddenly, Qing Yutong discovered that Yi Zizi's complexion didn't seem to be very good. Zizi, what happened to you? Qing Yutong pinched onto Yi Zizi's cheek. Other than Yi Hua, the only other person who would dare to pinch Yi Zizi's cheeks would be Qing Yutong. Qing Yutong and Yi Zizi were very familiar with each other, and they were even more familiar with each other than Qing Ye and Dong Wangbaiji. After all, Qing Yutong and Yi Zizi had slept together for 5 years, played games together, and messed around together. Kai Yun said with an envious expression, you don't know, but last night, there was a man who ran into the Imperial Palace without a care for his life to confess to Zizi. Ah. There's such a thing. Why didn't you call me over to watch the show? Following what Qing Yutong said, Yi Zizi kicked Qing Yutong petulantly. You are too disgusting, I didn't sleep well last night. Yu Hua chuckled. How is it disgusting? He's just expressing his deep feelings, okay? My God, the Imperial Palace has become like that, could it be that? Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Brett nodded his head. Let's hurry up and leave, if brother-in-law gets angry, none of us will be able to escape. Qing Yutong hurriedly said. Everyone felt that what Qing Yutong said was reasonable. The imperial palace has already become like that, his honor will definitely get angry. Let's just let other people take the blame for this. The troublemaking team immediately ran out of Wushu Empire. As for where to go, they decided to go to the south to play. Because there was his honor in the north, there was no need for them to cause trouble in the north. The night dispersed, and dawn arrived. Wushu Empire welcomed a new day, and residents began to emerge on the streets. All of them were filled with happiness. If a public opinion poll were to be done, the happiness index of the people living in Wushu Empire would definitely be full, because there was no need to worry about safety at all. In Kangluo continent, safety was more important than anything else. On Yihua's bed. Where's Yutong? Following Qingya's cry of surprise, Yihua and Donghuang Baiji both woke up. Yihua naturally covered for his sister-in-law. I don't know, she even pushed my butt yesterday night. Yihua said with a light smile. This time, I don't know when Yutong will come back, it seems like there isn't a lot of happiness. Donghuang Baiji cried out in surprise, Qingya, Yutong couldn't have left with Zizi and the others, right? This is bad. Qingya stood up and hurriedly wore her clothes. Yihua said faintly, she left early in the morning, you won't be able to catch up to her now. Qingya looked towards Yihua confusedly, you know that Yutong left? Then why didn't you stop her? Qingya was also worried about her little sister's safety. Yihua pulled Qingya into his embrace and said lightly, Yutong is already an adult, it would be good for her to go out and have a walk. Furthermore, with Yi Zizi and Brett around, what can possibly happen to her? You can be at ease. It's not like that, Yutong just likes to mess around. Yihua laughed, if she messes around, so be it. Even if she pokes a hole in the sky, I will still be able to add to it. Donghuang Baiji felt jealous, I am jealous, then, I will have to properly console the two empresses. Go, wake up. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji hurriedly got up, not giving Yihua a chance to wake up. Yihua was just joking around. Under the help of Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, he put on the emperor robe and walked out of the bedroom. Then, Yihua became dumbfounded. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji who were following behind Yihua were puzzled. When they saw the palace in front of them, they became dumbfounded as well. Daji who was at the side slightly lowered her head. She could clearly feel that her master's anger was rising. Who is it? Who is causing destruction in my palace? Yihua questioned coldly. Daji said respectfully, Master, a person barged in last night, and all of Master's subordinates are trying to stop him. A person. He came to barge into my palace. And he even made it look like this. Meeting. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji felt dizzy. I just had a meeting yesterday, and yet, I have another meeting today. After a while, Yihua sat on the throne, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji sat on the two sides, and Daji stood at the side to serve him. Below the throne, Yihua's subordinates were all shivering. I heard that a person barged in last night. And you guys are still trying to stop him? Yihua questioned. A person. You guys are a group of people. And you guys even made it look like this. I'm afraid that you guys are going easy on me. Wei Chang took a step forward and said respectfully, Your Honor, there was indeed a person who barged in last night, but, before Wei Chang could finish speaking, Yihua questioned gravely, Who is involved? Take a step forward. Chapter 887. All the subordinates took a step forward. Yihua immediately felt dizzy and shouted out angrily, Do you all have nothing better to do? Your Honor, please calm down, this matter is a bit complicated. Lai Gu cupped his hands and said. I was just scolded yesterday, and today, I am scolded again. All right. In that case, tell me, how did it turn out to be? If you don't, I'll give you a discount. Right now, Yihua couldn't help but think of the Azure Dragon Empire's emperor. When he woke up early in the morning, he saw that his imperial palace had collapsed. Now, he could finally understand the inner thoughts of that emperor. He could indeed be angered to death. Especially when he had a bunch of powerful subordinates who caused such an outcome, it was even more infuriating. Li Gu could be seen taking a step forward once again, and he actually took out his phone. Your Honor, this is the entire content of what happened last night. It was all caused by Yi Zizi, and we were also doing a good deed. When Li Gu opened the video, the background music started ringing out from the palace. Sweet, your smile is so sweet. However, Yihua couldn't help but laugh. But not long later, Yihua's laughter rang out in the entire imperial palace. Even Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji were covering their mouths and laughing lightly. This man is too talented. He had never seen someone who could spout nonsense like this. He was simply a genius. Who is this person? Yihua was unable to conceal the smile on his face. To think that such a thing would actually happen in the middle of the night. However, it must be said that this man's courage is indeed commendable. To actually dare to single-handedly run into my imperial palace and even profess his love in front of Yi Zizi, my God, who gave you the courage? Li Gu turned off his phone and said respectfully, Your Honor, we also don't know who this man is, but it seems like this man wants to obtain something from Yi Zizi. Did you get a butt? Yihua laughed out loud. Yi Zizi's subordinates also started laughing. If Yi Zizi was here, she would definitely dig 3 feet into the ground and bury herself. Qingye rolled her eyes at Yihua and said in a low voice, What but, seriously? This was the first time that the subordinates saw His Honor laughing out loud like that. Gradually, Yihua stopped smiling and immediately put on a stern face. Dong Huangbaiji had seen people change their expressions before, but the speed at which Yihua changed his expression was truly fast. How interesting. You didn't even inform me. You made me lose the chance to watch the show. Yihua's heart ached. If I was present at the scene yesterday, it would definitely be more interesting. Gossiping about one's subordinates was the duty of a leader. All the subordinates immediately shut up. Right now, silence spoke louder than words. Just like Dou Fusher, he had suffered losses in the past, but now he would not stand out anymore. I don't care what you say, it's best for this kind of thing to happen on the other side. Otherwise, all of you will break up and get back together for me to see. Yihua. Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Is there anyone who teases their subordinates like this? The subordinates felt dizzy, but those who didn't have girlfriends were fine, but those who had girlfriends all had bitter expressions. Today, I finally learned one thing. If I don't tell His Honor about something good, the consequences will be very serious. His Honor will make you break up with me anytime. Breaking up was considered a light punishment. In the past, the inhumane Yihua would be directly killed. Alright, I, the Supreme Overlord, would like to see the Imperial Palace return to its original state by noon. Recently, the main focus of my work should be placed on the harmony between humans and outsiders. Mu Ran has already started making plans, and when the time comes, I, the Supreme Overlord, will need actors to act as the main lead for the outsiders. Right now, Yihua was not going to let go of any interesting things. At that time, I will let Death Mage play the role of a bad person, and I will play the role of a good person, saving the humans in the abyss of suffering. This seems to be quite interesting. Subordinate obeys. Meeting dismissed. Yes. After giving out the important instructions, Yihua decided to eat a soup dumpling to calm himself down, then drink a bowl of kelp soup. Wow, this is simply too comfortable. Next, I will have to wait for Mu Ran's script. Seems like this year's Best Screenplay Award is going to be given to Muran. Don't look at how small Muran is, her brain is filled with a lot of things. Of course, there was also Yi Zizi and Yutong's script. The bigger the commotion that they create, the better. In the next few days, a rumor appeared in the entire northern part of Kangluo continent. That rumor was that Yuanyang Manor was destroyed. The main point was that Yuanyang Manor was destroyed by an empire. After this rumor spread out, a lot of people didn't believe it. The manor lord of Yuanyang Manor is a Dozun, how is it possible for him to be destroyed by an empire? Everyone felt that this rumor was just a joke, but the truth proved that Yuanyang Manor was indeed empty. Furthermore, there were even rumors that Yuanyang Manor's Shuri had fallen. When many things were added together, many people began to have doubts. However, they still didn't believe it. Because no matter how powerful an empire is, it is impossible for them to be a match for Yuanyang Manor and Viper Sect. Do you think that Dozun and Dodi are vegetarians? All of them are ruthless characters, existences that are able to destroy an empire with a single finger. Although they didn't believe it, the words Wushu Empire had already been imprinted in everyone's heart. There were even a lot of people who planned to go to northern Liangland to take a look and see if this Wushu Empire is as formidable as the rumors say. Right now, the troublemaking team was facing a problem. Don't stop me. I want to kill this slut. He has completely lost all of his face. Yi Zizi could be seen struggling crazily. Kai Yun and Qing Yutong each grabbed onto one side of Yi Zizi, holding onto the furious Yi Zizi. Not far away from the five of them, Yang Haoqian was squatting on the ground with a pitiful look on his face. His eyes were staring at Yi Zizi's butt. That red packet is right in front of me, but I just can't get it. This kind of situation caused Yang Haoqian to even have the heart to want to die. Qing Yutong originally didn't know about it, but after hearing about it from Kai Yun, she immediately laughed at Yi Zizi for an entire day, causing Yi Zizi to feel terrible. This is a stain in my life. Who the fuck would place his heart on someone else's butt? He is simply shameless. Zizi, he is deeply in love with you, just give him a chance. In the end, Qing Yutong still couldn't help but laugh loudly. It was the first time that I saw Yi Zizi acting like this, I was too happy. Kai Yun was the same as well, that's right, look at him, he has already followed us all the way here, didn't he just want to see your asterisk? After Kai Yun finished speaking, the four women immediately laughed until they were rolling on the ground. Yang Haoqian immediately rolled up his sleeves and revealed his asterisk. This caused Yi Zizi to flip out once again, you stinking shameless person, I will definitely kill you today. Shuang my heart has already fallen on your body, if you return it to me, I will leave. I'll return it to you your asterisk. Yi Zizi couldn't help but curse. This man actually said touching my butt so openly. If you don't return it to me, I, Yang Haoqian, will follow you for the rest of my life, until my body turns into ashes and fuses with this world. Chapter 888. Upon hearing Yang Haoqian's words of love, Qing Yutong's scalp couldn't help but go numb. Even brother-in-law has never said such words before, this is too mushy. Alright. I will let you fuse with this world right now. Yi Zizi's twin ponytails immediately rushed toward Yang Haoqian. I must definitely suck this man to death. I reckon that his honor should already know about my matter right now, and he will definitely be laughing out loud, and those people, it was all because of this bastard. Seeing Yi Zizi's hair suddenly growing longer, Yang Haoqian was also scared witless, but he didn't leave. He even knelt on the ground with a thud. Even if you can kill me, you can't kill my soul. My soul will be immersed in this love, unable to extricate itself. Qing Yutong, Kai Yun, Brett, Yu Hua, however, Kai-yun's face was indeed filled with little stars. What touching words of love. If you said it to me, I would definitely agree. Yu Hua said gently, Banner Master, you can't trust a man's words. Then why did you believe in Li Gu? Kai-yun didn't believe in Li Gu and refuted. That's why I only found out about it now. So that's the case. Then, Yu Hua, you should divorce Li Gu and be together with me. Yu Hua, Qin Yutong hugged onto Yi Zizi. Forget it, don't get angry, how big of a matter is this? Isn't it just a man who is infatuated with you, and you want to kill him? I don't want to play with you anymore. You only know how to laugh at me. Yi Zizi stomped her feet and sat down angrily. Brett slowly sat to the side and lightly said, Women, in the end, must have a home. Old woman, I am not a woman. Yi Zizi tenderly snorted and turned around. That's true. Women aren't as flat as you. Brett. What are you talking about? Do you want to fight? Yi Zizi immediately stood up and shouted at Brett. Brett chuckled. I'm not afraid of you. Qin Yutong hurriedly ran over to stop the fight. What's wrong with the two of you, to actually want to fight just because you don't agree with each other? If brother-in-law were to see this, he would definitely scold the two of you. Humph. Yi Zizi and Brett didn't have a good relationship, and they often complained about each other. Yi Zizi called Brett an old woman, while Brett called Yi Zizi a flat-chested girl. The two of them had been quarreling for at least 1,000 years. At this moment, Kai-yun lowered his head and looked at Yu Hua's. He immediately fell silent. He comforted himself by telling himself that it was because he was not fully developed yet. However, after developing for more than 10,000 years, it still hasn't finished developing. You over there, come over for a moment. Qin Yutong shouted towards Yang Haotian, who was not far away. Yang Haotian, who was crazy about getting the red packet, immediately stood up and ran over. His eyes kept glancing at Yi Zizi's, but from time to time. The red packet on it was simply too tempting. In actuality, Qin Yutong already knew a little about it. This man also had a system, and it was a red packet system. According to the system's explanation, the man's red packet must have landed on Yi Zizi's butt, which was why such a thing happened. Qin Yutong became curious. Could it be that if I don't take this red packet, I won't be able to continue living? The system said that the red packet system was meant to take red packets. This was a main mission, and if one was not able to take the red packet, the main mission would stop. And sometimes, the red packet system was also very deceptive. Sometimes, the red packet system would land on powerful figures. Just like what happened to Yi Zizi, who directly landed on someone else's, but this completely increased the difficulty of the red packet system. With a cold face, Yi Zizi suddenly punched towards Yang Haotian, and the latter did not even have the chance to react. However, a small hand grabbed onto Yi Zizi's small hand. Zizi, how can you be like this, wanting to kill people for no reason? Kai-yun held onto Yi Zizi's hand and said with a smile. Yi Zizi snorted. Count yourself lucky. For Kai-yun to be able to easily grab onto Yi Zizi's fist, it seems that his strength is very great. After all, Yi Zizi's fist is not to be trifled with. Yang Haotian was really worried that he would be beaten to death before he could even get the red packet. You are called Yang Haotian, right? Qin Yutong asked. And, that's right. Where are you from? I am from the south. The south, other than Yi Zizi, the other four women felt that this man was somewhat useful. After all, they were not very familiar with the south. Alright, I am not very familiar with the north either. What do you do? Speak honestly, if not, we are not going to save you. Qin Yutong said seriously. There are some things that cannot be joked about. If I don't feel that it is interesting, I will just let Yi Zizi kill me. Yang Haotian pursed his lips and used this short period of time to think crazily in his mind. After thinking about it, Yang Haotian felt that it would be better for him to speak the truth. If not, he would really not be able to get the red packet, and his life would be left here. Actually, I am the emperor of an empire in the south. Yang Haotian chose to speak the truth. Emperor. This caused the 5 women to be startled for a moment. Then, why did you come to Wushu Empire? Qing Yutong asked curiously. If you don't have a good reason, then I will just send you to heaven. I heard about Wushu Empire, and I just came over to take a look. Suddenly, one day, I saw. Yi Zizi suddenly turned her head around and said with a sinister look on her face, I dare you to say one more sentence, no one will be able to save you. I won't say any more, I won't say any more. After that, I lost my appetite, after that, you guys understand. Yang Haotian said in a low voice, fearing that he would be punched to death by Yi Zizi. What Qing Yutong needed right now was the information about the south, and adding on that this person was the emperor, he should know a lot of things. Who is the most impressive person in the south? Qing Yutong asked curiously, seemingly intending to go and find those impressive people. If we are to talk about the most impressive existences in the south, then it should be Meridian Break Sect and Shin Academy. Qing Yutong had naturally heard of them before. Ali and the others were sent to these 2 sects to learn. Since I have already come to the south, I will go and see how they are doing. Other than these 2, what else is there that is impressive? Qing Yutong asked again. If one wants to do something, one must choose a good person. Yang Haotian was puzzled. Just what are these 5 women planning to do? Could it be that they are planning to challenge the sects? They are directly going to challenge the Meridian Break Sect and Shin Academy. There are overlords there. If one is not careful, one will die. Other than these 2, the south is basically the same as the north. There are a lot of powers that are scattered all over the south. After listening to Yang Haotian's words, Qing Yutong paused for a moment, then said, You can leave first, we have matters to discuss. Alright, if there is anything you need, just call me. Yang Haotian decided. If I want to get a red packet, I have to first take care of my sisters. If the Air sisters served them well, they would have a chance to get their own red packets. Chapter 889. Translation: The red packet on that little butt is simply too tempting, my future is on that little butt. After Yang Haotian left, Qing Yutong said, What do we do? Among these 5 women, Qing Yutong's identity was right there. After all, she was your wife. Although Qing Yutong did not allow them to address her as their wife, they still had to respect her. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun basically would not consider this problem, they would just kill them once they caught them. The only ones that could be discussed were the other 3. Yu Hua said softly, I think, how about we talk about it after we get there first? Then what are we going to do? Directly rush into other people's sect and kill them? Brett laughed lightly. If that was really the case, I can settle everything by myself with my bow. Qing Yutong shook her head, this is too simple, there is not much fun in it. If we are going to play, then let's play big. How big? Kai Yun asked curiously. Even Yi Zizi, who was angry, also looked towards Qing Yutong curiously. Let me think about it first. Qing Yutong also did not know how to play. Thinking back to when they were in Ing family, they just let nature take its course. Upon thinking back to when they were in Ing family, Qing Yutong's eyes lit up. Zizi, do you still remember how we were kidnapped into Ing family? A strange smile appeared on Yi Zizi's face, then she looked towards Brett, Yu Hua, and the others. Being looked at by Yi Zizi like that, everyone felt uncomfortable. Yang Haotian, come over. Qing Yutong waved her hand. Yang Haotian, who was squatting at the side and drawing circles, ran over eagerly. Where did he look like an emperor? he looked more like a little follower. Boss, what's the matter? Yang Haotian even directly changed the way he addressed Yu Hua. I heard that there is a water city at the intersection of the north and south. Qin Yutong also unintentionally heard it in the city. Hearing the water city, Yang Haotian paused for a moment, then said, Boss, we can directly go there from the sky, there is no need to go to the water city. Are you very afraid of this water city? Qin Yutong asked curiously. Boss, this water city is an intermediary that separates the north and south. I heard that there are 3 great clans inside, and they are extremely powerful. If the strongest on the continent are the Broken Meridian Sect and the Deity Academy, then the 3 great clans in Water City are the same. Their clan leaders are all supreme beings. There is no need for us to go there. Yang Haotian really didn't want to go to that damned place. He could just fly over the water. No one would care. Even if he went by boat, no one would care. But if you force your way into Water City, you're done for. Qin Yutong suddenly revealed out a smile. Let's go to Water City. Yang Haotian, I'm not going to risk my life with you. Even if I drown in the water and don't want the red packet, I won't risk my life with you. Just give up. One day later, a luxurious ship sailed on the vast sea. This sea was called the Sea of Innocence, and at the bottom was Water City. Although it was smaller than the north and south, it was actually quite large. After all, the Kangluo continent was just too big. However, on the luxurious ship, Yang Haotian finally changed his clothes. He was dressed like a playboy, and with the plum blossom fan in his hand, he looked like a playboy. His hair was messy, and his expression was frivolous. What? Frivolous expression. I'm F***king pretending, I'm risking my life with them. You actually want me to play the role of a playboy? Fuck. Why don't you let me touch your butt? At this moment, on the deck, 5 beautiful women were so scared that their faces paled. These 5 women had actually dressed themselves up meticulously. Their appearances were practically on another level. Look at Qin Yutong. TSK, TSK, TSK. She's simply too frightening. Also, there's Brett. He's so sexy, it feels so good. Also, there's Yu Hua, this mature woman. She's made of water. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun belonged to the cute Lolita type. They were the favorites of the foot-scratching uncles. They were just acting, that's all. Their expressions of fear were very convincing. As expected of a movie empress. Even though they hadn't acted in such a long time, they were still able to casually get into character. Beauties, don't run. Let Big Brother touch you. What else could Yang Haotian do? He could only cooperate. What the hell is this? This was the first time he'd seen someone do something so exciting in the Sea of Innocence. It really was too exciting. You despicable scum. You tricked us into the Sea of Innocence, and now you want to molest us. Save us. Qin Yutong's acting skills had really improved. However, Brett wasn't very good. The others barely managed to act like women who were about to be taken advantage of. Yang Haotian's acting skills were indeed not bad. In the Sea of Innocence, I'm the heavens. Even if you scream your lungs out, it's useless. Your screams will only make me happier. Scream. Let me listen. Qin Yutong was a bit stunned. Where did you learn this line? Why does it sound like your brother-in-law's? You actually changed your lines. You're really something. Don't even think about hearing our screams. We'd rather die than submit. Qin Yutong shouted. Yang Haotian looked up and laughed. Rather die than submit. What a good line. In a bit, I'll let you experience what true happiness is. Shameless. Yu Hua shouted. Paw. Brett's response was much simpler. "Tsk," Yizizi snorted coldly. "You want to take advantage of me? Just a single strand of my hair is enough to make you feel good. All right." Kai Yun immediately clapped his hands. Everyone was speechless. It seemed that Kai Yun's mating season had arrived. Young Haotian approached the 5 beauties with a strange smile on his face. Qinya and the others shouted together, "Save us! Save us! Scream all you want. Make me excited." Although Young Haotian said this, he was actually getting closer to Yizizi. In any case, he was just putting on an act. Secretly touching her should be fine. Just when Yang Haotian thought he was about to get his way, splash, splash, splash. The sound of 3 splashing rang out in everyone's ears. There were now 3 more people on the deck. The one in the lead was a man wearing dragon scale armor. His facial features were excellent, his skin was fair, and his gaze was deep. He was commonly referred to as a handsome guy. The 2 behind him were obviously his guards. Audacious madman. You're doing it in broad daylight. You're actually committing a lewd act in the sea of innocence. You deserve death. The man pulled out the sword at his waist and pointed it at Yang Haotian. Yang Haotian even had the urge to curse out. "Can't you appear a bit later? Can't you see that I have already made my move?" Meanwhile, the 5 beauties were dazed for a moment. This line really will never change, it's too vulgar. However, at the very least, it's a good start. "Hero, save us!" Qing Yutong shouted out. Following Qing Yutong's words, the man turned his head around and looked over. Then, he became stupefied, as if his body was frozen. Pai Pai's entire brain was buzzing. Such beautiful women. How can they be so beautiful? They are more than 10,000 times more beautiful than the women in Water City. These are the most beautiful women I have ever seen. My God, what if I don't get to see them in the future? Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. Yen. Chapter 890. Omega 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 choking with sobs. Novel. Just as Pippi was in a daze, Yang Haotian snatched the sword from his hand and placed it across Pippi's neck. Qing Yutong and the others were stupefied. Was there such a scene in the script? How dare you snatch someone else's sword? How do you want others to lose face? You're simply too careless. Impudent. The 2 guards standing behind Pai Pai shouted. F***ck off, I'm having fun. You bunch of blind fools, how dare you disturb my fun? Yang Haotian was very angry. He was so close to getting the red packet. Then, he wouldn't have to risk his life with them. It's all your fault, you bastard, for appearing just in time. Her skin was not messed up at all, but she was actually a little unhappy in her heart. She was shocked by their beauty just now, so this person took advantage of her weakness. He was simply losing face in front of a beauty. Put down the sword in your hand. Do you know who I am? Pai Pai shouted coldly. I don't **king care who you are. Kneel down. Qing Yutong really wanted to give him a kick. Are you crazy or what? I just want to go in. Aren't you **king adding to the show? You're just a cameo, the kind that gets a lunchbox. How dare you make me kneel? I am the son of Water City's house Pai, Pai Pai. Following Pippi's words. The 5 delicate beauties were obviously a little surprised. Pippi. You're really mischievous. You're obviously here to save people, but your weapon was snatched away, and you're even being held against your neck. Could someone else be the hero to save the damsel in distress? This guy couldn't be provoked. Yang Haotian woke up a little. F***. What am I doing? Why did I steal his weapon and place it on his neck? That wasn't how the script was written. It was mainly because he was too angry just now. He almost got it. But now. He pointed his sword at the son of House Pie. He was done for. It was all this group of women's fault, asking him to risk his life for no reason. What should I do? I'm asking you what to do. Young Haotian stole a glance at Qin Yutong, and seemed to be asking, how should I act after writing it down? Qin Yutong was already speechless. What are you looking at me for? You added the scene yourself, settle it yourself. Young Haotian was nervous. He had offended the son of House Pie. The nervous Yang Haotian's hands trembled a little. The sharp blade directly cut through the skin, causing blood to flow out. Yang Haotian was stunned, and so was Leather. The five beauties were also stunned. Qin Yutong was already speechless. Just what are you trying to do this time? Yang Haotian looked at Pippi, and Pippi looked back at Yang Haotian. The two men looked at each other affectionately. Yes. Yang Haotian prepared to apologize. However, before Yang Haotian could finish, Pai Pai shouted angrily, "You have guts. House Pai won't forgive you." With that, he knelt down with a thud. Despair, deep despair. Yang Haotian really wanted to cry. Big brother, please get up. I will kneel for you. If you kneel for me, I will feel dizzy. Qin Yutong and the others were also feeling dizzy. Why did you kneel just like that? Didn't you say that Water City is very powerful? Why is it so powerful? The two guards yelled, House Pie won't let you go. After saying that, he also knelt down. Yang Haotian had never seen someone threaten people like this. He knelt right after saying that, not giving him any chance to explain at all. You guys are too shameless, trying to frame me. Yang Haotian secretly looked at Qin Yutong. What should I do? Qin Yutong threw a glance at him. You can do whatever you want. Hero. Why do you have to kneel for him? He is a pervert. Kai Yun asked in confusion. Didn't he just threaten you a little? Pippi looked at Kai Yun. Such a cute girl. But to lose face in front of such a cute girl, it was really a stain on life. This girl, kneel. Not scary. Death is the scariest. Yang Haotian, the five women were all stunned. Fuck. You're the only one who can talk about kneeling in such a dignified manner. You actually can't find any rebuttal. As expected, you are very mischievous. Is everyone in House Pie so mischievous? Pippi said seriously again, my father taught me that as a man, you must be able to kneel. One day, you will be able to stand up. Big brother, you seem to have misunderstood what your father said. He was only making an example, he did not really want you to kneel. My God, how can there be such a naive person? My mother also taught me, when a sword is pressed against my throat, I must not try to struggle, I must know how to be observant and act according to the situation. Everyone, your acting according to the situation is to use your mother's words to trap your father's words. Kneel. Outstanding. Yang Haotian felt that he was already outstanding enough, but when he saw this Pippi, he decided to give this outstanding to him. Actually, this young Master Pippi, we seem to have some misunderstanding. Yang Haotian felt that something was wrong, so he had to make it clear. Pippi snorted coldly, we will not have any misunderstanding. How about we stand up first? Yang Haotian said earnestly. Big brother, don't be like this. Pippi said in disdain, if you want me to kneel, I will kneel. If you want me to stand, I will stand. Wouldn't I, Pippi, have no face? Big brother, you already have no face right now. Yang Haotian wanted to cry in his heart, this is truly too stubborn. Hero, he asked you to stand up, hurry up and stand up. Qin Yutong hurriedly shouted out, bring out your heroic spirit. Pippi felt that his image was already gone, so he shook his head. Today, I am unable to save the ladies. It is I, Pippi, who is incompetent. I, Pippi, am willing to die as an apology. Don't say any more, I will return the sword to you, if you continue to point at me. Yang Haotian could not take it anymore, and immediately threw the sword onto the ground. However, Pippi sneered, I, the son of Pi family, do not accept the kindness of the enemy. Everyone, do not accept. My God, why don't you accept it? Brett felt that his view of the world had been refreshed. What a weirdo, mischievous to death. Then can I kneel in front of you? I beg you to accept it, okay? Yang Haotian felt Yizizi's killing intent, and immediately kneeled towards Pippi. The two men kneeled towards each other. Why does it feel like they are going through the ceremony of marriage, the part where the husband and wife bow to each other? Hero, hurry up and take out the sword, our lives are all in your hands. Yu Hua was anxious, and shouted towards Pippi. She had never seen such an upright and plain-spoken person before. However, Pippi still did not take out the sword in his hand, and even said proudly, I, the son of Pi family, even if I have to kneel and die, I will not fall for the tricks of vile people. Miss, I am sorry. Yu Hua really wanted to take out the sword and cut open this Pippi's brain, just what is inside, bubbles. However, Yang Haotian said in surprise, Big brother, what kind of scheme did I use? Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertising words. Chapter 891. Omega choking with sobs. Novel, you smeared poison on the blade. Do you think I don't know? Pi had a look of I knew it all along on his face. Don't think I'll believe you just because you're like this, unless you lick me. Hearing Pippi's words, the five women's jaws almost dropped to the ground. Was this Water City's IQ? Couldn't he be more serious? Yang Haotian was very angry. Why did this guy not believe him? Then I'll give you another bite. Yang Haotian picked up the sword. The five women, if you dare to lick it once, I'll admit it. Pippi said in a low voice. All right. I'll show you. Zillia, this Yang Haotian was really disgusting. It was as if he was eating skewers. Was there a need to lick him from top to bottom? Was he being too serious? This should be enough, right? Yang Haotian said indignantly. I, a Dozun, have already licked him. If you still don't believe me, I will open the ladle for you. Pippi suddenly nodded. Yes, I believe in your sincerity. As soon as he said this, Yang Haotian suddenly had a bad feeling and retreated. Qin Yutong and the others were also a little confused. What is going on? Yang Haotian's face turned green. He pointed at the blade on the ground and said, it's poisonous. Pippi smiled proudly and picked up the sword beside him. He stood up and said, my father also said that a man should use his brain to defeat his opponent. You cheated. Yang Haotian felt his body stiffening. This was probably a hard poison. Yang Haotian sheathed his sword and chuckled. My mother once said that the winner is king and the loser is a bandit. You can only blame yourself for being too stupid. Qin Yutong and the others also didn't expect that after going in such a big circle, he would suddenly make a counterattack. Is this leather horse really smart, or is he pretending to be smart? Yang Haotian's body was already stiff, and he was even looking at Qin Yutong with a pleading gaze. Boss, save me. Qin Yutong directly ignored it, and finally entered into the normal storyline mode. Hero, thank you for saving us, if not, we would have been tainted by this bastard. Qin Yutong said with incomparable gratefulness. When Pippi heard this voice, he felt as if the world had become clear. It was as if the person who had just knelt down wasn't him. Perhaps what he did was not embarrassing himself at all. It was all normal operations. You don't have to be so polite. Leather, was just helping out when I saw injustice on the road. I'm sorry to have startled you. Leather appeared to be very polite. He even bowed to express his apology in a gentlemanly manner. Yuhua felt that she had to say something as well. Hero, I have no way to repay you. When Pippi heard this, he became excited. After all, the latter part of this sentence was very tempting. Usually, they would devote their lives to him. This woman was really beautiful. Her skin was so white, even whiter than the women in Water City. How did she maintain her skin? If you really want to marry him, I, House Pie's son, wouldn't mind. I can only thank you for saving my life. Of course, Yuhua wouldn't say those words. She already had a husband, it was just an act. Pippi looked disappointed. This was not what he wanted to hear, but he still said, Miss, you are too polite. It was nothing. After saying this, Pippi didn't know what else to say. He could only signal his guards to capture this perverted thief. Although Yang Haotian's body was stiff, he could still speak. You guys saved me. At least I bought clothes for you guys. Yang Haotian was very depressed. If I am captured and brought to Water City, I will be done for. At this time, Brett suddenly said, Hero, can you bring us ashore? After hearing that, Pippi was a little depressed. At any rate, I am your savior. Miss, do you want to stay and have a meal with us? Pippi invited. Qin Yutong let out a breath of relief. Fortunately, Brett knows how to speak. That's not good. This man also said the same thing at the start, but he tricked us into coming here. What if you are the same? Kai Yun pouted and said. That cute look really made people want to commit a crime. Pippi patted his chest and shouted, how can the son of House Pie be the same as this kind of animal? You guys can rest assured. Yang Haotian even had the heart to die. I am an emperor. An emperor who has a red packet system, how did I become an animal? This is all their scheme. This is simply a huge loss, a huge loss. Not only did I not get the red packet, I even have to bear the name of this animal. The 5 women did not immediately agree, and a fearful look appeared on their faces. Pippi felt that it was natural. After being tricked once, they would definitely be on guard. Our Water City's scenery is exceptionally beautiful, you guys will definitely like it. Pippi said again. Yi Zizi asked curiously, really? Of course it's true. You guys can ride on a seahorse and travel around the underwater world. Pippi decided to break through from Yi Zizi. Little girls are easy to trick. Yi Zizi pulled onto Qin Yutong's sleeve, big sister, how about we go and take a look? Qin Yutong still had a hesitant look on her face. Miss, I, the son of House Pie, can definitely guarantee your safety. Then let's go and take a look. Yuhua also said softly, with a trace of embarrassment. Seeing that there was hope, Pippi hurriedly said, My House Pie is one of the 3 big families in Water City, you guys don't have to be afraid. Alright then, if you dare to do that to us, we won't let you off even if we become ghosts. Qin Yutong warned, but she did not have the slightest bit of strength. However, Pippi liked this kind of girl. Although she did not have any strength, she had her own persistence. Compared to those girls who threw themselves at him, she was much better. Seeing that the beautiful girls had agreed, Pippi became happy in his heart. He immediately turned his head and shouted, Throw this person into the prison and await punishment. I'm being wrongly accused. Save me. Yang Haotian was in despair, then was brought into the water by 2 guards. Girls, you guys will definitely like Water City, Yang Haotian said with a slight smile. He stretched out his hand and waved it lightly. Qin Yutong and the others immediately felt a surge of power on their bodies. Pippi explained, this magic can allow you guys to breathe freely underwater. Qin Yutong nodded her head. Pippi whistled towards the surface of the sea. Not long after, the surface of the sea began to churn, and a huge turtle could be seen floating on the surface of the sea. Girls, don't be afraid, please follow me, Pippi said with a slight smile. He was a sunny young man. If he did not kneel down just now, he would indeed be very handsome. The 5 of them stood on the back of the turtle, and gradually sank into the water. To be honest, Qin Yutong and the others were a bit curious about the underwater world. They had never come into contact with it before. This time, on one hand, they were here to cause trouble, on the other hand, they were here to take a look at the underwater world. As the huge turtle dived, everyone did not feel any discomfort. On the other hand, the surrounding scenery was very attractive. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertisement. Chapter 892. Omega 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 choking with sobs. Novel. There were a lot of creatures under the water, and they were also very peculiar, causing Qin Yutong and the others to exclaim in admiration. This place was much more beautiful than the animal world. The creatures also began to grow in size. There were iron-head fish that were hundreds of feet long, and there were even ferocious beasts that were hundreds of feet long. However, when they saw the skin, they avoided it. Their ferocious appearance was quite frightening. Apart from the enormous vicious beasts, there were also many cute little creatures that emitted all kinds of light, illuminating the dark seabed. It was truly beautiful. However, everyone was still diving down, and their speed was not very fast. This was done on purpose to let these beauties enjoy the scenery, and when the time came, they would not be able to leave. Why is there a layer of clouds down here? Kai Yun asked curiously. Not far below, there was a layer of cloud-like thing floating. Pippi carefully explained, after passing through this barrier, we will reach Water City. So this mist is a barrier, no wonder. As the giant tortoise pierced through the clouds, a dazzling world appeared before everyone's eyes. This. Qin Yutong muttered. Yu Hua and Brett were also a little confused, while Kai Yun and Yi Zizi had joyous expressions on their faces. The entire city was glowing brightly, and countless underwater creatures were shuttling back and forth. Was that building serious? The style of the building was completely out of tune with the outside world. Are you curious about the architecture here? Pippi smiled. That's right, why are the buildings here so strange? Qin Yutong asked curiously. Pippi stood with his hands clasped behind his back and said in a low voice, we have to start from our ancestors. It's a long story. In any case, they were the ones who did it. After hearing that, Qin Yutong had a thought. Their ancestors definitely came from another world, because the buildings in this place had a kind of advanced design, just like the future. Especially that hourglass-like building, this kind of design is not something that an ordinary person would be able to think of. Hero, how big is this Water City? Yu Hua asked curiously. That includes the entire Sea of Innocence. Wouldn't that mean that it would be bigger than any other power? Bigger than even Wushu Empire? The giant tortoise floated above the city. After the 5 of them came down, a guard brought 5 seahorses over. This seahorse was quite cute, and it gave off a faint golden glow. The 5 women immediately rode on it, feeling that it was very novel. Leather led the way in front, causing the surrounding people to be extremely curious. Wow, look! General Pai actually brought. He brought such a beautiful woman into the city. Yeah, these 5 women are so beautiful. The older ones are beautiful and the younger ones are cute. General Pi is really lucky this time. Of course, Pippi also heard the envious voices around him. He felt a little proud in his heart. Bringing such a beautiful woman with him would give him face wherever he went. Qing Yutong nudged against Brett, who was at the side, then looked at the things on the city wall. Canon Brett also felt that it was similar. Although his appearance had changed, he still gave off a sense of deterrence. Hero, what is that on top of the city wall? Qing Yutong asked curiously. Oh, that is called a star cannon. Even a Dozun has to be careful. Speaking of this, Pippi felt proud. As a member of Water City, he felt a sense of accomplishment. Is it that powerful? Kai Yun asked curiously, as if he wanted to test out its might. Pippi smiled proudly. Of course, this is something left behind by the ancestors of Water City. Qing Yutong dared to guarantee that the ancestors of this Water City definitely came from another world. However, why did they not go to the land and instead came to the water? This made them curious. After passing through the city gate made of crystal, there was basically no passageway here. All the passageways were made by creatures sitting on the water. Brett felt that this place was very similar to Blue Blaze Star, at least the pattern was very similar. The passageway is below. Pippi seemed to know the doubts of the 5 women and said casually. Qing Yutong looked down. Indeed. However, the 5 women discovered that this city had a festive atmosphere, as if some kind of celebration was being held. Hero, why is there a red cloth hanging on every house? Yuhua asked curiously. Oh, Bao family is looking for a son-in-law. Pippi said indifferently. It seemed like he did not have a good impression of this Bao family. Bao family? Yi Zizi asked curiously. This Bao family is also one of the 3 big families of Water City. There is also a Kong family. Qing Yutong and the others finally understood. Pai, Bao, and Kong family controlled the entire Water City. How can they cause trouble like that? It seems like they can only use their looks to cause trouble. Pippi had his own mansion, which was very luxurious. It seems like Pippi's position in Pai family was not low. At the very least, he was a powerful existence among the younger generation. 5 ladies, do you want to take a rest first? Take a rest. Take a rest, my ass. We are here to cause trouble. If we are going to take a rest, what kind of trouble is there to cause? No need, hero, your mansion looks very big. Kai Yun ran around, appearing very happy. Yuhua followed behind him and took care of Kai Yun. Don't call me hero, I really don't dare to, just call me Pippi will do. However, just after Pippi finished speaking, 2 figures descended from the sky. Third brother, I heard that you brought back 5 beauties. As your big brothers, I immediately came over to check on you. The 2 men looked very similar to Pippi, just that the smile on their faces was a bit bad, as if they were suppressing someone. The one who spoke just now was the second brother, Pai Guanghui, and the one who stood at the side was the eldest brother, Pai Qing. Fortunately, Qing Yutong did not go to rest just now, otherwise, she would have missed this opportunity. And when Pai Qing and Pai Guanghui saw Qing Yutong and the others, both of them revealed a shocked expression. As expected, they are very beautiful, it is really impossible to describe with words. How did third brother manage to meet these kind of women, and even brought all of them home? Do you really not know how many to give to your big brothers? Are you able to handle all 5 of them together? Pippi looked at his big brother and second brother, and the smile that was originally on his face instantly disappeared. These 2 had always been making fun of him since he was young, although it was just a small matter, he was still very unhappy about it, and would often complain about it in front of his father and mother. Big brother, second brother. But no matter how much he disliked them, he still had to call them, this was a matter of etiquette. Third brother, aren't you going to introduce them to us? Big brother Pai Ching said with a slight smile, showing that he was very well behaved. But as long as one knew Pai family's eldest young master and second young master, they were nothing more than two playboys. Pippi said with a slight smile, these 5 ladies are my third brother's guests. So they are guests, I thought they were third brother's beauties. Pai Guanghui laughed, then walked into the house with Pai Ching. Observing them from a close distance, they are even more beautiful. This third brother's luck is really good, to be able to encounter such a thing while he was out patrolling. If I had known earlier, I would have also gone to try my luck with beauties. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertisement. Chapter 893. Omega 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 choking with sobs. Novel Qing Yutong and the others immediately stood behind Leather Horse, and they had a very scared look on their faces. However, this pitiful look made Pai Ching and Pai Guanghui even more excited. This woman, only when she was weak did she feel the best. Big brother, second brother, don't scare my guests. Pai said in a deep voice, his face gradually darkened. It was fine if you guys caused trouble in the past, but now they were my guests. If you dare to touch them, then don't blame me for not showing mercy. Pai, how can you speak to big brother and second brother like that? You really don't understand etiquette. Pai Guanghui reprimanded. You really don't understand the rules. You want to monopolize such a beauty. How could this be? Qing Yutong, who was hiding at the back secretly, had a naughty smile on her face. From the looks of it, we are all femme fatale, no matter where we go, we will be able to bring about calamity. Only a man like brother-in-law would be able to handle it. Big brother, second brother, there are guests at home today, so I won't entertain you too. Third brother, look at what you're saying. We're all family, so why are you talking about taking care of them? Pai Ching smiled and took a few steps forward. Qing Yutong and the others were so scared that they started trembling. Pai stood in front of the 5 women and shouted, Big brother, that's enough. Pai, don't be like this, big brother doesn't have any evil intentions. Pai Ching looked at Qing Yutong and the others and revealed out a smirk. The more he looked at her, the more beautiful she became. She was much better than those women in Water Town. The women of Kangluo continent were indeed different. He really wanted to go out and experience the outside world, but unfortunately, the rules were set. The people of Water City were not allowed to step onto land. Pai Guanghui smiled and said, It's your first time in Water City, after all. Now that the Bao family has found a son-in-law, we should go and have a drink. Why don't we go together? Second brother, you don't have to worry about it. When the time comes, we will naturally go. Third brother, the more people there are, the livelier it is. Could it be that you want to lock them up at home and do something? Pai Cheng's words caused Qing Yutong and the others to go into a daze for a moment, then immediately revealed an expression of fear. Pippi felt that these 2 brothers were really good at stirring up trouble. Pai Ching and Pai Guanghui also saw the 5 women's expressions. It seemed like they did not completely trust their brother, which was a good thing. Miss, why don't we go and play together? It's also very stuffy here, Pai Ching suggested. Qing Yutong and the others hesitated. Pippi knew that he couldn't force them to stay, so he said in a deep voice, All right then, let's go have a drink together. Ladies, please, Pai Ching said with a frivolous smile. He seemed to be very polite. However, the viciousness in his words was not revealed. Qing Yutong and the others also did not refuse, and went to take a look at what that Bao family was like. The sea dragon carriages outside were all ready. It seemed like they had come prepared. Qing Yutong and the others got on the carriage, and the 3 brothers rode on the seahorse at the front. At this time, Yuehua whispered, Yang Haotian won't be killed, right? Yuehua, you can rest assured. That Yang Haotian is at the very least a dozun. How can he be killed so easily? Kai Yun was very reassured. When the time came to leave, he would go and rescue Yang Haotian from prison. Thinking of this, Kai Yun suddenly had an idea, and then he waved his hand. Aren't the people of this water city not allowed to go ashore? How about we get them ashore? Kai Yun suggested in a low voice. That was a good idea. How do we get them ashore? Yi Zizi asked in a low voice. Kill them. Brett said calmly. Qing Yutong and Yuehua nodded. Only hatred could force the people of Water City out. The troublemaking team began to concoct a plan. How should they draw this hatred? The Bao family was relatively far away. However, in one of the Bao family's rooms, a man wearing a red groom's attire sat at a table, his face brimming with smiles. In truth, this man could be considered an old acquaintance. Qi Shuwen, who possessed the Divine Dragon system. A few months ago, Qi Shuwen hadn't been in Water City. However, he needed a vast sea to eat, so he came to the Sea of Innocence. By a freak combination of factors, he ended up in Water City. Then, a traditional hero came to save the Bao family's eldest daughter, Abalone Yu. In the beginning, Qi Shuwen didn't think much of it. Although she was a rare beauty, Qi Shuwen's focus was still on cultivation and gathering draconic qi. However, Abalone Yu took a fancy to Qi Shuwen. She followed him around every day, and gradually, Qi Shuwen figured out Abalone Yu's background. She was actually the daughter of one of the 3 great clans of Water City, the Bao family. Furthermore, she was the eldest daughter. If he didn't take advantage of such a resource, he'd be a huge idiot. Water City was simply too rich in resources. It was practically built for him. He could hide here and quietly become a supreme. When the time came, he could summon clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. How wonderful would that be? Qi Shuwen pushed open the door and walked out onto the balcony. This was the tallest building in the entire region. With a single glance, he could see everything. This feeling. It was like she was holding everyone's fate in her hands. This was a feeling he'd never felt before. At that moment, Qi Shuwen couldn't help but think back to the events of the past, the North-South martial arts competition. That empress held everyone's lives in her hands. Even he was the same. If she wanted someone dead, that person would die. That feeling was exactly what he'd been yearning for. But now, Qi Shuwen spread his hands and clenched them. He was slowly beginning to master them. Looking at the entire Water City celebrating for him, he felt so good. Son-in-law, everything's ready, the maid's voice rang out from outside. Qi Shuwen took a deep breath. What's so bad about being a live-in son-in-law? As long as he got what he wanted. As long as the system was still around, there would be a day where he would achieve meteoric success. Walking out of the room, Qi Shuwen revealed a brilliant smile. This smile came from the bottom of his heart. Everything that he had today was not easy to come by. Water City's wedding didn't have that many customs, and it even had a hint of being ahead of the times. All of these customs came from the old ancestor. Even Qi Shuwen felt that the old ancestor of Water City should be someone from the modern era, and not someone from the future. Looking at the way the banquet was being held, with a few hundred tables and the entire restaurant being booked, Bao family was just that awesome. At this time, Qing Yutong and the others arrived as well. However, they completely didn't know that they were going to meet their acquaintances later on. However, Qi Shuwen didn't want to see Qing Yutong and the others at all, because that would make Qi Shuwen feel that he wasn't the main character, and was only a supporting character among the main characters. Who would be willing to be a supporting character? Everyone wanted to be the main character. This Bao family is truly rich and overbearing. Pai Ching muttered. Pai Pai said indifferently, you speak as if our family doesn't have any money. Pai Guanghui patted on Pai Pai's shoulder, third brother, money is not easy to come by. As the guardian family of Water City, we have to set an example. Look at this Bao family, they are spending so much money just to hold a wedding. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertising words. Chapter 894. But I heard that Bao family's son-in-law is quite talented. Pai Ching said faintly, he wanted to meet him. Pai Guanghui didn't think so, how strong can the son-in-law be? He's just a gigolo. Pai Pai remained silent, he didn't want to discuss this matter at all. He originally planned to eat alone with the 5 beauties, but in the end, that abalone, she is still a beauty of our Water City, but she was actually married by an outsider, so embarrassing. Pai Guanghui pouted his mouth, if he said he didn't have any thoughts about abalone, that would be a lie, who didn't love beauties. Pai Ching also didn't say anything. The group of people arrived at the restaurant, and it immediately caused a commotion. The 3 brothers of Pai family are here, what a rare sight. That's right, I heard that the 3 brothers don't get along, why did they appear together today? This rumor really can't be believed. Who's sitting in the car behind them? Who else can it be? It's definitely a woman. Just when everyone was guessing who was inside, Qing Yutong and the others began to walk down one after another. The surroundings became quiet. The 3 brothers of Pai family immediately felt that they had gained face. Look at all these men, they were all stunned by their beauty, this is what women are. That abalone is nothing, even in front of them, he still has to feel inferior. The appearance of Qing Yutong and the others indeed caused a shocking effect, they were all beauties that could cause trouble. My God! The 3 brothers of Pai family actually brought such a woman over. Don't ask me why, they are definitely here to cause trouble. Is there even a need to say, abalone is already a beauty, and now there is an even more beautiful one, even the bride's beauty is inferior. Where did the 3 brothers of Pai family find such a beauty? If it was in Water City, it would have already been spread around. Maybe it's from outside. Everyone spoke one after another, all of their gazes were on Qing Yutong and the others. There were quite a lot of gazes on Brett, after all, his body was too hot, Yu Hua was also the same, they were both mature and tall women. And some of the uncles' gazes were on Yizizi and Kai Yun, 2 Lolas, grabbing onto those 2 ponytails was like crazy. Be careful of the stairs. Pai Pai said softly. And, thank you. Yu Hua was still very polite. Seeing this, Pai Ching and Pai Guanghui also started to give instructions. This scene made everyone realize one thing, the 3 brothers of House Pai hadn't gotten their hands on her yet, but they thought they had. Yo! Isn't that the 3 brothers of House Pai? 2 sea dragons surged forward, creating a wave. 2 men came down from the dragon's back. Pai Ching looked on coldly. Not only Pai Ching, but also Pai Guanghui and Pai Bu. These 2 were from the Kong clan. They were also the 2 most outstanding young men. Eldest brother Kong Hong and 5th brother Kong Tai. The 2 of them looked very similar. They were brothers born from the same mother. He was the kind of man with elegant demeanor. As soon as the 2 of them arrived, they were attracted by the appearance of the 5 women. He completely ignored the Pai brothers. But Kong Hong and Kong Tai were not so impatient, they slowly walked over and said with a smile, "Young lady is really beautiful, I wonder if we could know young lady's name." Kong Hong. What do you mean? Pai Ching shouted coldly. It wasn't a matter of whether they were women or not, these 2 were here to lose face. Although the 3 brothers of House Pai didn't get along with each other, this was an internal problem. When someone came to provoke them, it was better for them to unite against the external enemy. Kong Hong didn't show any anger on his face, while Kong Tai said indifferently, "A graceful lady is a gentleman's desire. With such a beauty by the side, how could we ignore her? That would be disrespect to the young lady." Pai Pai's face darkened. "Kong Tai, stop talking here, this has nothing to do with you." After saying that, he said to Qin Yutong, "Let's go in first." Qin Yutong's face showed signs of struggle, as expected of a movie queen. Kong Tai caught it very well. "Pai Pai, the other lady seems to be unwilling, are you threatening them?" "Fifth brother, you're right, young lady, are they threatening you?" Kong Hong's face gradually became cold, and a murderous aura instantly spread out. At that moment, the 5 women immediately hugged each other. That pitiful look made it seem as if they were being threatened by everyone. Actually, they were laughing in their hearts. As expected, looks could make them cause trouble. The 3 brothers of House Pai weren't cowards. The power of a Do Zun was instantly unleashed. Just like that, the atmosphere had already frozen to the extreme, and the people who were watching the show all dispersed. House Pai and House Kong were going to fight, and they were going to fight over women. Everyone, let's talk this out." An elegant man walked out from the restaurant. He didn't look very handsome, but his eyes were very strange. This was the eldest son of House Bao, Bao Po. Bao Po, who walked out, saw Qin Yutong and the others. As if he had already guessed something, it was normal for a hot-blooded young man like him to fight over a woman. Bao Po was slightly older, and his strength was slightly stronger, so the 5 men would give him some face. The 5 of them retracted their aura, and the surrounding seawater became calm again. Some people were even unable to breathe due to the pressure. "Today is my sister's wedding day. I don't want to see a fight, or else don't blame me for not giving you face." Bao Po's tone was filled with warning. But right now, Qin Yutong really wanted to slap this man to death. They were clearly going to fight, but he really appeared at the right time. "Brother Bao, it's not us 2 brothers being unreasonable, it's just that the 3 brothers of House Pai are bullying someone else's lady," Kong Tai said with his hands behind his back. After all, this was House Bao's wedding day. Causing trouble was indeed not giving them face. Bao Po looked at Pai Ching. "Is there such a thing?" Pai Ching said indifferently, 9 out of 10 of Kong Tai's words are lies, and one of them is bullshit." "Pai Ching, do you believe that I won't kill you right now?" Kong Tai shouted. His right hand was already on his sword. Kong Hong pressed his brother's hand, and said indifferently, "Pai Ching, I think that you 3 brothers are really itching for a beating." "Humph. What, you really want to fight? Do you think that I, Pai Guanghui, will be afraid of you?" Kong Hong let go of his brother's hand. His gaze gradually darkened. "Since you want to fight, why don't we go to Deep Sea Arena to play after the wedding?" "Okay." Pai Pai immediately agreed. Qin Yutong and the others felt that this is good. "I didn't even say anything, I just made a few expressions, and these people are already going to start fighting." Bao Po was also unable to stop them, and said indifferently with a smile, "Everyone, come in and drink a cup of wedding wine to calm down, and ladies, enjoy the festive atmosphere." Bao Po's words were still pleasant to listen to. Qin Yutong and the others continued to follow behind Pai Pai, but the Kong brothers also joined in. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.